The McKinney Boyd Broncos, coming off a 62-6 massacre by the Denton Broncos, will try to rebound tonight and look for their first ever victory in school history versus the winless Springtown Porcupines. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Ron Poe Stadium. Monty Walker along with Brandon Helms, John Leidy, and also a newcomer to the booth tonight, Jared Foyt. You'll remember that name from the McKinney Lions last year. Brandon, let's talk a little bit about this McKinney Boyd team tonight. They're kind of changing philosophy offensive-wise. Of course, the head coach Don Drake always wanted to air it out, coming over from McKinney North and that spread offense, but a little I formation perhaps?
Well, when you don't have the personnel to spread it out and air it out, you have to make a change. And right now, a young squad, a young team, guys who haven't been working together, and to have a spread out offense, you have to have that timing for it to work. And right now the personnel, they're not timed right, so you can always go back to good old-fashioned run. We'll talk to John Leidy in a minute. He used to be a offensive lineman, and he'll tell you it's a lot easier to run block than it is to pass block, so this should help out the offensive line, which in turn helps out the running backs, which in turn helps out the quarterback, which in turn helps out the receivers, and in the end, the defense.
It does help out the defense, and that may be the underlying reason for going to this ball control and clock control offense. When you run the ball, you take a lot more time off the clock, which in turn keeps your defense off the field. When you're throwing the football, stopping the clock, giving the ball back to your opponent, it gives a lot more opportunities for your opponent to score.
Well, when you go 3 and out in a passing offense, it usually means you've had some incompletions, which means less time gets taken off the clock than if you were to go 3 and out in the run game, because then you at least keep the clock running, and therefore more time gets taken off the clock, and in the end, it'll give your time, or your defense rather, a little bit more rest.
Combined, the quarterbacks last week, 1 out of 11, 3 interceptions and only 2 yards through the air, and that'll make you change your philosophy a little bit. John Leidy down on the sidelines, we'll say hello to you and talk a little bit about the conditions here tonight.
Yes, guys, y'all mentioned that McKinney Boyd might switch to the I formation tonight. The purpose of that is to keep the ball in the offense's hands, keep the defense off the field, give them a little bit of rest. Another factor that might also have played into that, it is very, very windy tonight. Coming directly out of the south, so if you're heading towards the north, the wind's with you. If you're heading backwards, sorry guys, wind's going against you. The McKinney Boyd Broncos are sporting their home jerseys. Monty, you said look just like the New York Giants except with the darker blue. Their helmet has the McKinney Boyd Bronco logo with the word Boyd and a Bronco across the M. The Springtown, I'm sorry I didn't catch the mascot, but their helmet says the Pojos, P-O-J-O.
They're porcupine. The porcupines.
I'm sorry about that. I'm not very familiar with Springtown. Their uniforms look a lot like the Florida Gators, except exchange the orange for black. So back up to y'all.
All right, thanks a lot, John. Hey, John, while you're down there, you talked about the wind. What about any other factors? Are we going to have any weather-related issues? And talk about that. Look, can you see the little sunset over there?
I cannot see the sunset very well, but I can see off to the north of us here. It's clear. It's very, very cloudy. Although the wind is coming out of the south, Texas is known for the storms to come from the opposite direction.
So not much humidity tonight on the field. Do we have to worry about cramps?
No, sir. Although today has been probably the warmest day in the past week. So we'll have to look into see how that plays into tonight's game.
All right. Thanks a lot, John Leidy down on the sidelines. I tell you what, John can't see it, but from our vantage point, way up here in the sky at Ron Poe Stadium press box, we see an absolute gorgeous sunset over on the western horizon.
Yeah, it's about all we see. That's pretty bright.
We're going to take a quick break, and we'll come back with the Senior Spotlight and the Coaches Show coming up next. McKinney Boyd football will continue in a moment on 97.5 KLAK. Welcome back to Ron Poe Stadium. Monty Walker along with Brandon Helms and John Leidy. And one thing about Springtown, they have this Pojo magic, they call it. And, John, have you done some investigative reporting this week and found out about just what is Pojo?
Yes, Monty, my investigative reporting is a little bit better this week compared to last week.
We'll see.
I've dug deep into the archive file, and I found out what Pojo is. If you've ever seen Austin Powers, he has Mojo.
Right.
Well, this is Porcupine's Mojo. So they combined it to get Pojo.
Okay.
That's what I've been told.
Well, Wiley, thank you, John. Wiley has the Amo or whatever that is. And, of course, out in West Texas, I think they started all this stuff, didn't they?
Yeah, this directly goes back to Permian, my neck of the woods. As much as despised as they can be out there, No one can deny the phrase Mojo Magic. I mean, that's been around for decades, if not half a century at least. So everybody's got to do a little rip off of that. Pojo Magic, they're not going to fly with me.
Well,
not going to.
I tell you what, Brandon, why don't we go over the Springtown starting lineups? We'll have the Boyd starting lineups coming up in a few minutes, but why don't you go ahead with the offense there?
We'll start off on the offense. We'll go with the big guys on the line. Left tackle starter DJ Carell. He is a junior, 6'2", 285. Casey Calloway, left guard, 6'2", 320. He's a junior. Wears number 79. Douglas Mooneyham, the center, a 5'11", 225 senior. Right guard J.D. Maddox. He's 5'11", 250 pounds, is also a junior. And then conceivably his twin brother Josh Maddox, 5'11", 225, also a junior, plays right tackle. In the backfield, Logan Turner is the quarterback. He's a 6'1", 180 senior. Look for him to pass it around. Already this year he's thrown 52 completions on 98 pass attempts. Raphael Kubrak is the running back, the tailback in the backfield. The receivers, they're going to run a spread set. Look like this: Jesse Hodge, a 5'10 senior. Jonathan Sylvie, a 5'11 senior. And Michael Satterfield, wearing number 82. He's a 6-foot junior. And Chase Ray rounds out the skill positions. He is the tight end, 5'8 senior. On the defensive end, it looks like this. It's a simple 3-4 defense. On the line, it is Ty Burnett. He is a 6'2", 215 junior. Nose tackles Cameron Hoffman. He's a 5'10", 250-pound senior. And the other end, Aaron Berman. He's a junior, 6'3", 225. Linebackers on the outside, it's Chip Lynn, a 5'8", 160-pound senior. On the other side is Thomas Gibson, a 6'3", 180 senior. The inside linebackers, Tim Downing, a 6', 175 senior. And also a senior, Kyle Rogers, 6', 190. The secondary looks like this. At the right cornerback, it's Brandon Weeks, a 6', 165 senior. The other side is Caleb Banks, and he's a 5'8", 150-pound sophomore. By the way, the only sophomore starting on the Springtown defense. The safeties, Al Owens Strong, 6'2", 190 junior. And on the free side, it's Danny Hill. He's a 6'2", 190-pound senior. Defense coordinator Scott Wells, and for the offense, it's led by Brad Turner, former Texas Arlington greats. That's what Springtown looks like.
You know, talking about Brad Turner, he's 40 years old. He is from Weatherford, Texas, and like you said, he is a UTA grad. Overall record for Brad Turner, 67-37. You might remember him from Sulphur Springs last year. He also had another stop at Lone Oak. For the Boyd Broncos, obviously Don Drake, the standout from McKinney North, the offensive coordinator for the past several years, brought that offense over here and ran the identical system over here at McKinney Boyd for the past couple of weeks, but tonight going to change it up a little bit.
Well, that's what good coaches do. You have to adapt to the players that you have, and right now the players aren't geared toward the spread offense, sling it around style that McKinney North is known for. And so what you have to do in a situation like this, find out what works. You know, there's a night-and-day difference between McKinney and McKinney North. The reason being, McKinney can't do what McKinney North does, and at the same time, McKinney North can't do what McKinney does. You have to find the style that works, and we'll see if this is what works for Boyd in this game against Springtown.
What works for Springtown is Logan Turner, their quarterback. You mentioned his stats earlier, 667 yards passing, 5 touchdowns. He is already committed to SMU. And he has a lot of weapons split out wide. One of his favorite is Jesse Hodge, who has caught 16 passes, 257 yards, and 2 touchdowns already on the season. In the backfield, you mentioned Raphael Kubrak, and he is their leading ground gainer, 35 carries, 223 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Last week, a big week for him, 19 carries, 150 yards, and 2 touchdowns against Burke Burnett. And so far on the season, Springtown is 0-3. They have lost to Mineral Wells, 14-7. They lost at Alvarado, 40-30, and another barn burner last week, of course, Burke Burnett, 41-31.
Well, the only one I've heard of with some success is Burke Burnett, but then again, you know, that's the Northwest Tarrant County section. You know, we're not real familiar with them up here in Collin County. It's hard to judge just how strong that schedule is, especially when we're only in the non-district portion of the schedule.
Of course, the Boyd, conversely, lost the opener to Prosper, 33-13, and of course lost last week at Denton, 62-6 at old Denton ISD Stadium. And that was a place that we were talking earlier off the air about some stadiums and Old Denton ISD Stadium is one of those that has the old AstroTurf, and you just don't see those anymore. Last day of summer, John Leidy, how does it feel on the field down there right now?
Guys, it's a warm one. It's probably the warmest day we've had in a week and a half, 2 weeks almost. It's also the windiest day we've had in probably the month of September.
All right, John, we're going to take a quick timeout and be back with McKinney Boyd football on 97.5 KLAK. Welcome back to Ron Poe Stadium. Monty Walker, along with Brandon Helms, John Leidy, and Jared Foyt. Now, I've already made one mistake tonight. I said Jared played last year, and that's what happens with old age, I guess. Jared actually played 2 years ago on the McKinney line.
Well, it's a bummer for Jared because you can't be wrong, so now he's got to be fired.
Jared's going to be doing the spotting for us tonight. We appreciate him coming up in the booth. Again, McKinney Boyd coming out on the field. They do not have the run through yet. Those things cost about $6,500.
Yeah, they're going to hold a bond election for that.
And McKinney, the Lions are in a situation where they have the big blue helmet to run through, yet they have gold helmets now. So kind of a mismatch there.
Let's just give it over to your new little brothers. You know, just do a little scratch work, get a new one for the established high school. Everybody's happy. Now, all right, Monty, this might be a good time. We've got we're talking about not a hypothetical, kind of scenarios that happen in the middle of a game, kind of a new hypothesis or
hypothesis.
What? I don't know.
Okay,
but I was analyzing something in the middle of this week, just random thoughts, and what I was coming across here is offense versus defense occasionally can be a situation where you have mini battles during the plays, right? And so what I was thinking about on defense has they're reactionary, but basically they have to win one battle on defense for the play to be successful in most situations. For example, you're on offense, you have an offensive line. If one of the guys on the offensive line doesn't win their battle, you can be 4 or 5 and have an 80% ratio, but if that one gets through, then your offensive line didn't do their job, therefore the play didn't work. So look for in this game, look for the little battles. We'll look at the offensive line. When you're a young team, just how many battles they might be winning and still look bad in the process.
And we'll have the coin toss here momentarily. John Leidy down on the midfield stripe with the captains for each team.
Okay, guys, you're the visitor. We're going to call you white. Home, we're going to call you. We need a captain. We need one of you up here. We've already had the coin toss. Springtown, you guys have won. Go ahead and turn your backs over here to kick. Okay, guys, good luck to you.
Springtown has won the coin toss, and they will elect to receive the football. They will be defending the north end zone. Conversely, McKinney Boyd will stand with their backs to the south end zone and be moving left to right on the radio dial, and Springtown moving right to left.
Something you don't see a whole lot anymore. The team that won the toss actually decides to receive. Most of the time anymore, you'll see a defer, and I like the defer call. I think what Springtown's going to be looking here is to make a statement early. They're a team that's 0-3, and they don't have the new school, no seniors, I don't want to say excuse, but reason, that Boyd has for being winless to this point. And it looks like what they're going to do, what Brad Turner's going to try to do is set the momentum early for his team.
The officials for tonight's game out of the Dallas chapter, the referee is Mike Woodard, the umpire Dickie Dunn, head linesman Jake Reichenstein, the line judge David Tucker, and the back judge is Jerome Berglund. The captains earlier that made their way out to midfield for Springtown, Thomas Gibson, Cameron Hoffman, Randy Vasquez, and Nick Scott, rather. For McKinney Boyd, coming out was Reese Redmond and A.J. Jones, the tailback. And McKinney Boyd just about to prepare to make their way out on the field through the run-through here. Through the victory line, I should say.
Well, let's hope it's a victory line. One thing I was looking at, mentioned earlier about the youth that McKinney Boyd has. Not only do they have 4 sophomores starting on each side of the ball, but Monty, they have 5 guys who start both ways.
In one other area that we talked about, again, during a commercial break, the Springtown Porcupines have 1 sophomore starting out of 22 starters, offense and defense. McKinney Boyd, 8 sophomores, and that is a tremendous amount of young talent out on the football field, and that's that can overmatch you at times, and that's why Boyd has had a lot of struggle so far.
That's 36% of your starters are sophomores. And then you add the fact that almost half of them are two-way starters. I mean, you can see why it makes for a good decision for Coach Drake to go to that I formation, get these guys rest, let them, run time off the clock, and it helps both sides. And you look at the roster and you think, my gosh, that's a 4A school. That's an awful short roster. But there's not a single senior on here, and you're not – very rarely you're going to see a first-year school with a senior.
Here come the Springtown Porcupines making their way through their big black helmet tunnel. Now, as John mentioned earlier, they have black pants, black helmets, white jerseys, and black numerals outlined in, it's kind of an orange-red type color. And here come the McKinney Boyd Broncos. And the Broncos have the gray type silver pants with the dark blue, McKinney blue, if you will, tops, white numerals outlined in red, and the two white stripes go over the shoulder pads, kind of like the New York Jets. They have the blue helmets with one red stripe right down the middle that look similar to the New York Giants without the gray face mask. They have the dark blue face mask. We're about to get ready for the national anthem. We're about 3 minutes away from kickoff. You're listening to McKinney Boyd Football on 97.5 KLAK. National anthem performed by the McKinney Boyd Bronco Band, and what a great rendition that was. While we have some time here before the kickoff, let's give a big thanks to Germain Designs, who always provides our broadcast uniforms for us year in and year out. Germain Designs is located in Denison. You can call Laurel Hamrick. She's at 903-465-5590. They can do just about any embroidery work that you want done. And it's really nice when you actually wear the things, Brandon.
Yeah, these things look great. I'm telling you, I love wearing these shirts.
Brandon actually forgot to wear his tonight, but that's okay.
There was no need to bring that up.
Just about ready for kickoff here. Again, Springtown won the toss. They will elect to receive. Again, a little bit different. You mentioned earlier that those things these days, normally when you win the toss, you go play defense, but neither one of these teams play defense very well, so they try to get the ball and score as fast as they can.
Well, we've chronicled Boyd so far, but when you look at the Springtown Porcupines, again, they're 0-3. Their best output came at the first game of the season. Mineral Wells, they lost that one 14-7, but generally your first game of the year is always going to be more of a defensive struggle than the rest of your games will. The next week they gave up 40 in a loss to Alvarado, and the following game they gave up 41 to Burke Burnett, and both those losses were by 10 points.
In the first quarter so far this year, McKinney Boyd giving up 20 points and scoring 7. Conversely, Springtown has scored 6 in the first quarter and given up 13. So both teams losing the opening quarter. We'll see which one comes out ahead in this one. Doing the kickoff, or we'll teeing it up for Springtown, will be Timothy Loomis, the 5'8", 175-pound senior.
And the ball fell off the tee. You're going to see a lot of that today.
John said it was very windy. A breeze coming out of the south. A big storm up by the Red River. But hopefully that one will stay away. Obviously the wind pushing that way, so I don't think we'll see any effects from that. Now a holder will come over for Springtown. Ryan Haskell will actually put the finger on the ball. And the kick is up. It's very high. It's kind of a short kick, going to be taken at the 3-yard line, dropped, and then picked back up. And at the 18-yard line, Springtown will take over. And I completely messed that one up. Travis Yarborough is kicking off for McKinney Boyd. I was looking at the wrong roster, so Yarborough with the nice kickoff there, and a return by Springtown's Al Owens, I believe. Or what? Al Owens comes up and sets up shop at the 18-yard line for Springtown.
A nice open field tackle on the return by Caleb Bankston. He came around on a streaker on the right side, just running down the sideline. No one bothered him, and because the returner muffed, he was able to pick it up, or rather make a nice solid open field tackle.
Shotgun formation for Logan Turner. Again, committed to SMU. High snap goes right through his hands. He's going to have to pick it up on the run. Throws to the right side, wide open and caught. And enough for the first down is going to be his wide receiver on the far side. And on the catch is going to be Jonathan Sylvie, who came in with 11 catches, 113 yards. He comes up right there. And a busted play, and somehow they made something out of it. It'll be first down.
I don't know if you've seen the movie Waterboy or not, where at the beginning he's like, here we are, dropping a fumble. Oh, and he can drop and pick it back. That's almost what that was.
Shotgun formation again for Turner, who has Kubrak standing to his left side, 3 receivers near side, throws out there, and it's caught once again. Jonathan Sylvie for his second catch of the game, and we'll give you the McKinney Boyd starting defense right after this play. It's second down and short, about 3 yards.
That was just a simple timing route. 2 steps into the pattern, you look for your receiver. He catches it on the run. That can be a difficult play to defend.
Second down and short, just underway. 11:21 left to go, first quarter. Shotgun formation for Logan Turner, and Springtown moving right to left. Pressure here. Turner's going to keep it right up the middle, running right tackle, has the first down up to the 46-yard line. And Turner on the season rushing the football, has 45 carries, 265 yards, 2 touchdowns. You can add about 7 yards to that as he gets the first down there. 14 carries, 87 yards, and 2 touchdowns last week.
A simple 8-yard gain, blocked well. The Boyd Broncos coming on a blitz from the outside, and when you come on a blitz from the outside, makes the interior vulnerable, and that was evident on that play.
Kubrak moves to the right side of Logan Turner, who is again in shotgun formation. Split out wide right is Chase Ray. 3 receivers to the near side. He's going to throw again. Once again, Sylvie makes the catch and fumbles the football right at the first down marker. McKinney Boyd says they have it. All of McKinney Boyd pointing to that north end zone, and no, they'd say Sylvie got back on it. The wide receiver who made the catch came up with his own fumble recovery, and guess what? That moves the sticks as well.
Well, Neil Johnson was on the ball, and apparently, it's not who jumps on it first, but who ends up with it. Apparently, the ball was rankled through by Sylvie back into his arms.
Kubrak on the right side of Logan Turner. First down and 10, 2 receivers either side. Sylvia in the slot to the right side, and Chase Ray outside. Logan Turner wanted to throw again, and this time across the middle for Silvers again, or Sylvie rather, and this one falls incomplete. For the first time tonight, they have not had a successful play.
Yeah, and right now they've run basically the equivalent of 5 plays. 3 of them have gone for first downs.
Split out to the near side is Jesse Hodge for Springtown. Chase Ray split out wide right. 2 men in the slot. Raphael Kubrak stands to the left side of Logan Turner, who is about 6 yards deep behind the line of scrimmage in shotgun formation, moving right to left. This is going to be a handoff. Logan Turner's going to keep it again. Running up the middle, had his legs cut out from under him right at the line of scrimmage. And a nice play there by McKinney Boyd, and we have yet to give you the McKinney Boyd Broncos starting defense, and let's do it right now. Third down and 10, 9:51 left to go, first quarter, no score. Logan Turner back to pass, looking near side, has his man, and it's caught and popped immediately by Parker Bolinas, the cornerback. He made a great hit, but not after the catch could be made by Jesse Hodge on the near side, and once again, Springtown moving the sticks.
Yeah, nice little timing route. It was a simple 10-yard out, and he was able to get 12 by the time it was all said and done. That's what you want. You want to make the reception at the sticks. You don't want to come before the first down marker, and that's not what Hodge did. He stayed behind it, and if he was going to catch it, it was going to be for first down, and it was.
And the tailback, Raphael Kubrak, has yet to carry the ball. The 9th play of the drive coming up here. Turner gets the snap, throws that right side in the slot, and he has his man Sylvie, who makes the catch, and another first down for Springtown with 9:14 left to go first quarter. Springtown has moved the ball effortlessly throughout early on here.
Simple 11 yards there. And Sylvie started in the slot on the right side. Was able to catch the ball running toward the sideline, got some good blocking downfield, and get another first down. That's now the 4th first down on a pass on this drive, 5 total first down so far.
Coming up to the line of scrimmage, barking the call, now stepping back is Logan Turner. 5 yards behind the line of scrimmage, now steps up, changes the play on first down and 10. 9:14 left to go, first quarter, no score. Springtown and McKinney Boyd. Shotgun formation. And Logan Turner is going to be sacked in the backfield all the way back to the 29-yard line. Coming up for McKinney Boyd is going to be the safety, strong safety, Matt Morton on the sack. A nice play by Morton coming on a blitz and had Turner back in the backfield. A big loss there all the way back to the 27-yard line.
7-yard loss on the play. It was going to be a designed quarterback option, but no matter what Turner would have done there, it would have been eaten for yardage. Just good pressure by the Boyd line there.
2 receivers to either side. Logan Turner, quarterback shotgun formation. Snap brings it in, looking to the near side. Now he wants to run, and he's going to cross the 25-20, looking out to the 15-yard line, cuts it back inside in a lot of traffic, and goes down right at the 14-yard line. So it'll bring up about a 3rd and 5 here. And really the only trouble that Springtown has been in so far, and the only, well, they did have a 3rd and 10 earlier that they converted, but this will be, I believe, their 2nd third down of the drive.
13-yard gain there by Turner. He was able to make a lot of people miss the ball, or rather miss the tackle, as one of the linebackers had a chance to get him right at the line of scrimmage. Nifty move by Turner made a couple other guys miss on his way down to the 14-yard line.
Kubrak and Turner in the backfield. 2 receivers to either side. Looking near side is Turner. Throws it, and it's caught by his wide receiver, Jesse Hodge. Immediately making the stop is Parker Bolinas, but now they're going to say no catch?
No, they're going to be not a first down. Caught the ball at the line of scrimmage. It was well defended by Bolinas. As soon as the ball was in the air, he made his break.
And they are going to have an official timeout for this one to measure. John Leidy down on the sidelines. John, got a pretty good look at this one. What do you think?
Guys, it's going to be very close, but I think it's actually going to be a first down as the ball is actually touching the 10-yard line, and the pole is just shy of the 10-yard line. So I think it's actually going to be a first down.
Maybe that south wind will push that one back a little bit. 7:47 left to go. First quarter, no score. Early on here at Ron Post Stadium, McKinney Boyd and Springtown, they're going to pull these chains tight. And the ball resting right at the 10-yard line. It's going to be enough for the first down, and it is. So first and is it going to be first and goal now? That's the big question, because the ball is really straddling that line there.
Well, if it's on the 10-yard line, it has to be a first and goal. So this is at least ideally the best scenario for Boyd in a first and goal situation, because first and goal at the 10 is the hardest first and goal to get a touchdown on, statistically.
Checking in, Norman Seibel will come in to play defensive end rather than Nathan Lynchard, who checks out momentarily. First down at 10, 7:42 left to go, first quarter, no score. McKinney Boyd and Springtown. Logan Turner in shotgun formation, 2 receivers to either side. Jesse Hodge comes near side. Out far right is Chase Ray. He's looking for Hodge in the end zone, bobbled and caught, and touchdown Springtown. Logan Turner hits his wide receiver, Jesse Hodge, and that'll be Hodge's 3rd touchdown of the year. Logan Turner's 6th touchdown pass, and it's 6-0 Springtown.
Very efficient drive for Springtown. They converted both third downs they attempted. Were able to get 7 first downs on the drive, 6 in the air, and only Jesse Hodge and Jonathan Sylvie caught passes, but Sylvie caught 4 on the drive. Hodge caught 3. Very efficient offense.
On for the extra point, and it's a bad snap, low snap, and not able to get it up is the kicker, Brandon Weeks, who it was a bad hold. So with the extra point, obviously no good. 6-0 Springtown in the lead here. Back in a moment on 97.5 KLAK. Welcome back to Ron Post Stadium. Monty Walker along with Brandon Helms, John Leidy, and Jarrett Foyt. A 10-yard touchdown from Jesse Hodge, or to Jesse Hodge from Logan Turner. It was a 10-play, 82-yard drive. It took 4 minutes and 34 seconds off the clock, and that brings us to our new score, 6-0. Springtown on top of Boyd with 7:26 left to go here in the first quarter. And now Springtown will tow it up, and doing the kicking off for Springtown will be Colt Trotter. Back deep for McKinney Boyd will be Jeff Fuller and A.J. Jones. This kick's going to be a low squibber, and falling on the kick is going to be Weston Eubanks, who falls on it at the 32-yard line, and that's where McKinney Boyd will set up shop, moving left to right.
When the football takes a bounce, you don't always know where it's going to go. That's the case with Weston. He tried to pick it up off the bounce, but it didn't go exactly where he wanted to. He was fortunate enough just to be able to fall on that one, prevent Springtown from getting 2 consecutive possessions before Boyd got the first.
And here we are, the I formation for McKinney Boyd, moving left to right. Philip Sears, the quarterback, will go under center. Zach Jones and A.J. Jones dots the I. This is going to be a toss left side. A.J. Jones, big hole, look out. At the 38, and he's going to go down there. For a moment, I thought he was going to be able to pop it out to that far sideline, but he wasn't able to. Nice job by Springtown coming up and making the stop there.
Well, that's a great job by Springtown's right cornerback, Brandon Weeks. Your cornerback has got to be your contained man on the play. If you get outside the cornerback, there's no one else who's going to be able to contain the play. Weeks did not let Jones get outside of him, but as it was still a 7-yard run.
2nd down and 3. We'll give you the McKinney Boyd starting offense after this play. Toss right side. A.J. Jones has the 40, 45, 50. Look out, 45, 40, 35, down at the 30 and inside the 25 to the 24-yard line. And, you know, you talk about I formation, and that's what this can do for you. You just simply toss right side and kick out those blocks, and A.J. Jones has the speed to get to the corner.
Well, and that play was made on a receiver block to the outside. I just mentioned the play earlier, how important cornerbacks are to contain. The receiver got the block on the outside. I'm not sure it was. I believe it was Parker Belenius, and that allowed A.J. Jones to get that extra 30 yards.
Again, we'll try to give you the starters after this play now, after that big play there. 1st down and 10 inside the 30. And this is going to be another toss left side. A.J. Jones, misdirection. Now he tries to find the outside corner, cuts it back inside, and nowhere to go here. Brought down behind the line of scrimmage for a loss. And here is your McKinney Boyd starting offense. 2nd down and 13 after the 3-yard loss. 5:53 left to go first quarter. McKinney Boyd has the ball moving left to right inside Springtown territory at the 26-yard line. I formation, an offset I rather. And it's going to be a handoff to A.J. Jones trying to run right tackle, but he was blown up at the line of scrimmage, and it'll be another loss for McKinney Boyd. Coming up for Springtown is Aaron Bowman. The right defensive end. Actually, I think that's going to be Ty Burtonette actually coming off the pile.
Well, either way, it was a good team play. That's the first interior run Boyd ran on this series, and Springtown got the best of that one. The other previous 3 runs had gone to the outside.
Zach Jones, A.J. Jones in the backfield. And Sears wants to throw this time. Behind the line of scrimmage, looking now. He's going to throw it down the field, almost intercepted. Trying to hit Zach Jones. Or actually trying to, No, it was Jamel Minor coming out of the tight end position. He was trying to hit down the field. But a flag is down right about the line of scrimmage.
Possibly he ran ahead of the line of scrimmage when he threw that pass. Or it's also in the neighborhood of holding, and that's what we've got. Obviously a decline situation for Springtown. You've got him in a 4th down situation. You don't want to give him another chance on a down.
Yeah, it was 3rd and 15. Now with the decline penalty, it'll be 4th down and 15. And McKinney Boyd going to tee this one up, try to get some points on the board. Travis Yarborough will come out to do the kicking. Weston Eubanks will do the holding. It'll be a 46-yard attempt.
Well, he can boom him.
For Travis Yarborough. 5:01 left to go in the first quarter clock. The snap is down. The kick is going to be way short and low. And no good for McKinney Boyd. So the Springtown Porcupines will start in their own territory at their own 29-yard line.
Didn't get all of that when he made me look foolish. But I was watching him in practice, and he was making them from that distance and further. And he's got a range of about 50 yards. I'm not sure of his accuracy, but he's got the leg to do it. Just came up short on that one. Turnover on downs. You know what? Not a bad drive. And they got a couple of big runs. He at least puts confidence that you can run the ball if you're a Boyd fan.
Springtown comes back out on offense. Earlier, a 10-play, 82-yard drive. Boyd wants to stop him here. It's going to be Logan Turner trying to throw the home run ball down the field. Has Hodge, and it's caught at the 38, inside the 30. Fumbles the ball, and another Springtown Porcupine falls on it, and now another fumble, a separate fumble, and McKinney Boyd has it. Chris Thornton comes up with the fumble recovery for McKinney Boyd, and that was 2 separate fumbles on that play. Hodge initially made the catch at the 38, rumbled inside the 30 where he fumbled. Jonathan Sylvie, trailing right behind him, picked it up and hit right in the back as soon as he picked it up. A McKinney Boyd Bronco nailed him, and that jarred the ball loose once again and enabled Chris Thornton to pick it up.
Well, I'm not sure exactly how Hodge fumbled the ball. He wasn't hit. I think he was just running and it slipped out.
Well, the ball will be at the 25-yard line. Again, McKinney Boyd has it, moving left to right. This is going to be a lot of trouble on this play, and Philip Sears is in trouble and trapped behind the line of scrimmage and goes down after about a 4-yard loss back to the 21-yard line.
Well, the first 2 plays were positive yards for Jones. Now we've got a timeout. Yeah, one of the Springtown guys limping off the field.
John Leidy down there checking out. I believe that's Aaron Bowman who comes up a little gimpy. We'll check down with John Leidy right after this play and talk about kind of the atmosphere down on that McKinney Boyd, see how their mood is early on in this game. Only down 6-0 with 4:22 left to go in the first quarter, but they need to start moving things on offense here, and they look good so far with A.J. Jones. I formation. Jones dots the I. Philip Sears wants to throw a very, very high intended pass for Jeff Fuller, who has it go right through his hands on the other 40-yard line. Fuller, normally a great sure-handed receiver, just dropped this one.
As a receiver, that's one you got to make. That was in his bread bag. It wasn't, maybe this is what got him. It wasn't your prototypical long ball pass. It had a lot of arc in it.
Like a punt.
But it came straight down, and he was looking back behind his shoulder. It's not the easiest catch, but when it's right there, you've got to bail your quarterback out in that situation.
3rd down and 14. John Leidy, talk to us. How big is this play here for McKinney Boyd?
Guys, this play is big. The defensive effort has actually been good. The tackling's been good, and they got a turnover.
All right, thanks, John. 4:07 left to go first quarter. 6-0, Springtown in the lead. Philip Sears under center for McKinney Boyd, moving left to right. It's going to fake the toss and roll out right side. He keeps it to the 25, up to the 30. May have a first down if he keeps rumbling, and he does, up to the 37-yard line. A great run there by Philip Sears. And, John, you pointed out they needed a big play there, and they got it from their quarterback.
Well, Sears made that one. There was a defender about 5 yards beyond the line of scrimmage that was right in his way, and he was basically able to juke out, and then he was hit a couple yards behind the sticks but forced it forward for an extra few yards to get the first down. By the way, the first 3rd down conversion of the game for the Broncos.
Zach Jones and A.J. Jones in the backfield. Philip Sears under center. This is going to be a toss left side. A.J. Jones in trouble. Shakes one defender and now can't get away from the second one. And behind the line of scrimmage once again is A.J. Jones. On the stop for Springtown is Danny Hill, the safety, coming all the way up on the blitz and making the stop there. Another 3-yard loss for A.J. Jones.
Well, his first 2 carries were for positive yards, but his next 4 have all been for negative yardage. He's not following his blocks. I'm not sure if it's because they're not there, if he's trying to do a little bit more. But he's going backwards. He had 44 yards after second carry. He's now down to 32.
Jeff Fuller split wide right. Chase Enos to the left. I formation once again. Both Joneses in the backfield. A.J. dots it. This is going to be Sears. Fakes the hand. Looking down the middle. Wants to throw it. Throws it down the field. All the way down for Jeff Fuller, who makes the catch this time at the 19-yard line. And it's just a matter of time before Jeff Fuller makes a big play. And he does there inside the 20.
47-yard reception by Fuller. And I think that was a harder reception than the last one would have been because he had a defender right on him. And as soon as he caught the ball, the defender made the tackle. But needless to say, it's the first reception of the game for the Broncos, and arguably it's one of the biggest plays. Again, a 47-yarder to Jeff Fuller.
Fuller, obviously the weapon in the receiving department for McKinney Boyd as he goes split out wide right once again. This is going to be a handoff to the fullback up the middle, and that's Zach Jones, and he barrels his way with a flag down at the 13-yard line, and a host of Springtown Porcupines bring him down, but Zach Jones looks pretty good moving kind of a north-south runner there at the fullback position.
Yeah, that's what you need out of your fullback, a bruiser who takes a couple of guys to get him down, especially on the high school level. Your fullback can be one of your biggest runners. Now it's just a matter of seeing what the penalty is. If it came into the pile, it could be anywhere from an offensive holding down to a defensive face mask, or any combination thereof of penalties. And right now it looks like there's something going on because the referees are taking a while to digest this one.
Well, let's see what they're going to wave it off. I was going to check with John, but they waved this one off. So the nice run by Zach Jones, not anything flashy, but, when you get 5 yards, that's always good.
Well, 5-yard Barrett ran his way to almost 1,600 yards last year for North.
2nd down and 5 for McKinney Boyd, moving left to right. Down 6-0 to Springtown. 2:24 left to go first quarter. Jeff Fuller split out wide right. Chase Enos wide left. I formation, both Jones in the backfield, and Jamel Minor, the tight end slot back. And this is going to be Sears handing off. A.J. Jones trying to find that left corner. Has the 10, has the 5, cuts it inside, close to the pylon, and going to be out at the 2-yard line. And it looks like a hold on McKinney Boyd.
It's going to be out on the outside, one of the receivers.
Let's check down with John Leidy. I think John might have had a good look at that one.
Actually, I think it was the fullback coming out of the backfield there. Surprisingly, the fullback for McKinney Boyd is the smallest player they have on their offense, but he's also one of the quickest.
All right, thanks a lot, John. Very insightful.
It is indeed holding. Now it's just a matter of them marking it off from the spot of the foul.
And that's unfortunate because obviously that would have been great position for Boyd, and maybe that's the reason they were able to get in great position.
Yeah. Well, it never hurts.
But
first penalty of the game for either side.
So the ball will rest at the 22-yard line instead of the 2-yard line where A.J. Jones went out of bounds. So with 2:07 left to go here in the first quarter, McKinney Boyd down 6-0. It'll be 2nd down and 15. I formation once again. Sears wants to throw, looking left side for Enos down in the end zone, and it is caught. And a flag down for a moment. There's no indication. We haven't seen a signal yet.
My guess is pass interference on the defense. When you don't look back at the ball, then you have your arms around the receiver. Decline it.
And will be officially touchdown time in Texas. Chase Enos on the catch. Philip Sears on the throw. That's Enos' 2nd catch of the year and the first one in positive yardage. He had one catch earlier this year and it went for minus 12 yards. This time it goes for a touchdown.
Well, you look at Philip Sears. He went incomplete on his first 2 pass attempts. The next 2 have gone for 70 yards and a touchdown.
And Yarborough's kick is no good. He pulled it wide left. Flag on the play, however, so let's hold everything for a moment and check this out.
Interesting. You don't normally see a penalty, and right now you see the Broncos clapping as they're listening in on the official conference, so we may have another chance at this, and this brings up the question, if you're going to move the ball forward, do you go for 2? Probably not. It's way too early to think that, but when you get an opportunity to move the ball up closer to the goal line, it might be something you think about doing. Of course, again, this is all speculation at this point. We don't even know what the penalty is, but right now both kicking teams are staying on the field.
Well, this is by far the best Boyd has looked far this season. I think with the tinkering with the offense, the I formation obviously gives them a chance, for one thing, to keep their defense off the field. And another thing, it looks like they're having a chance to be able to mix it up a little bit where the defense is a little off balance and not expecting you to throw ever down as well.
The penalty was on Springtown, so it's a half a distance to the goal. They can keep the extra point team on the field.
This for the lead. Yarborough, the extra point. Weston Eubanks will hold it. The snap is down. The kick is up. This time, it's good. 7-6. McKinney Boyd in the lead. 2 minutes left to go in the first quarter. Back in a moment on 97.5 KLAK. Welcome back to Ron Poe Stadium. A happy Ron Poe Stadium, at least on the east side over here. 7-6. Boyd in the lead. They're going to fake the Quail onside and back up and boot this one away. It was an 8-play, 75-yard drive for McKinney Boyd. Took 2 minutes and 29 seconds off the clock, capped off by a Phillips Sears to Chase Enos 22-yard touchdown, and that's how Boyd has the lead here, 7-6. Yarborough is going to kick this one off. It's going to go to the 1-yard line, going to be taken by Springtown, and that's going to be Sylvie, who crosses the 25 to the 30, escapes one tackler to the 35, spins down right there at the 35-yard line. Weston Eubanks and a couple of others come up and make the stop, as well as Chris Garrison, and also Parker Bolinas was there as well.
Some sloppy tackles allowed Springtown to get about 10 more yards in field position, better than they would have. It's tough, though. The Porcupines were able to set that return up beautifully, allow Sylvie to get to the outside, get a few more yards out of the return based on the good blocking.
John Leidy down on the sidelines. What do you have for us down there?
Guys, the weather's played a factor a little bit in the kicking. As you saw earlier, Springtown pooch kicked it up the middle. Also, I'm looking off to the north, and I'm seeing a little lightning coming out of the storm. We're going to send it back up to y'all, guys.
All right, thanks a lot, John Leidy. It'll be first down and 10 for Springtown, moving right to left. 1:50 left to go in the first. Timeout has been called. We'll take 1-2. Back in a moment on 97.5 KLAK. 1:50 left to go in the first quarter at Ron Post Stadium. Springtown moving right to left. First down and 10 at their own 35. This is going to be a handoff up the middle. A new runner in for Springtown, and that's Al Owens. He gets the first carry of the night, other than quarterback Logan Turner.
That's odd.
And he will have enough. Well, it's enough for an 8-yarder, not enough for the first.
Well, the guy who's holding the sticks in the first, at the beginning where the stick lines up with the line of scrimmage on the 1st and 10, thought it was enough for a first down. He started marching, but again, they've got 2 yards to go.
New receiver in, and the left slot as well is going to be Andrew Haddock, as Logan Turner wants to throw. Has the near side, and him and Jesse Hodge just completely got mixed up. He was trying to hit Hodge on the near sideline, and Hodge wasn't even looking at him. But looking at us is John Leidy, and he has some information about that extra point.
Guys, the penalty on that extra point was actually a mysterious one. There's not actually a hand signal to identify what that penalty was. The heads lineman came over to Coach Drake and explained it. The back, what would be eventually the safety on the defense, springboarded off of a defensive lineman to try to block that kick, and that is illegal.
All right. Great investigative reporting, John Leidy. I tell you what, I think we've found a keeper on that sideline crew. Third down and 2, 1:08 left to go. First quarter, it's been a long first quarter so far. Logan Turner, shotgun formation, moving right to left. And he wants to throw to Hodge again. Actually, he hits Haddock in the slot on a first down play up to the 41-yard line, and that is Haddock, Andrew Haddock, making his first catch of the year. And that will be good enough to move the sticks. Again, inside Boyd territory at the 42-yard line.
21-yard reception is just a simple timing route. Haddock's about 5 to 10 yards downfield when he receives the pass, but the defense is still in coverage. Don't have time to adjust to the carrier right away. It's a very effective pattern right now for Springtown.
3 receivers to the right side. As Turner wants to throw, has Owens in the flat, has the 35-30, 25 flag down, and this one will probably be holding against Springtown with 57 seconds left to go in the first quarter. McKinney Boyd on top, 7-6. Would have been enough for the first down, but bring this one back, Brandon.
Yeah, Andrew Haddock blocking out in the pattern. Again, it was a simple fly pattern where the slot receiver goes out toward the sidelines while the guy lined up on the line starts blocking. In this case, it was Haddock. Haddock got a hold of Parker Belenius out there on the far side, and Parker, whenever you start falling with the blocker, it's a good indication that he was holding, and that holding allowed the play to develop along the sideline there. Good call by the official, good sight, and now that's the second penalty on Springtown, and it's going to be a costly one as it puts them in 3rd and long.
It'll be 1st and 17 from the 48-yard line. 2 receivers either side. A little mix-up in the backfield, but Raphael Kubrak takes it up the middle. His first carry of the night, I believe. And another flag down. This one's late and towards the Boyd sideline, and we'll have to check and see what this one is. Zach Hodge. This might be a sideline violation. I don't know if it's a warning or a violation, actually.
You always give a warning the first time, then any subsequent violations after that will be a penalty.
So the ball will now rest at the 45-yard line. Second down and 14, 48 seconds left to go in the first quarter. McKinney Boyd on top, 7-6.
Yeah, mind you, that last play, there wasn't a mix-up. That was what it was designed to be. It was basically a draw where it looks like Turner's going back to pass, and that's supposed to allow the defenders to pursue beyond the ball carrier. But nice job in defense for Boyd.
3 receivers to the near side for Springtown, moving right to left. Logan Turner, who is committed to SMU, is going to hand off. Once again, running right guard is Kubrak, and he will not be anywhere close to a first down. As a matter of fact, on 2nd and 14 will now be 3rd and 12 after the 2-yard gain.
It looks like so far, at least the preliminary total show that the Boyd defense, at least against the run, performing very, very well. At this moment, they've only been able to, or only not been able to, they've only given up 27 yards rushing on 7 carries. And one of those was a pretty big one by Turner.
Timeout on the field. We'll take one, too. 7-6, McKinney Boyd on top. Back in a moment on 97.5 KLAK. We are now in the second quarter. McKinney Boyd on top, 7-6. Moving left to right now is Springtown at Ron Poe Stadium. And Turner wants to throw, looking left side, just out of the arms and maybe intercepted and not. For a second, Sylvie, the wide receiver, had it in his hands and dropped it. Chris Garrison had a shot at it, but then it went out of his hands, and it'll be incomplete. 4th down for Springtown.
Monty, the Boyd defense starting to adjust a little bit. They were in a 3-2 dime coverage there. That puts 6 defensive backs on the field. It allows the defense to at least respond a little bit better. Right now, the running game not doing too much for the Porcupines. So they're trying to stop the pass, and you saw on that play, good defensive coverage there.
On 4th down and 12, Springtown, they're going to pooch kick it. I thought for a moment they were going to go for it, but Turner in his shotgun formation just kind of pooched it out, and rolling towards that 1-yard line, finally rolls into the end zone. So a touchback, and McKinney Boyd will take over at their own 20-yard line. 11:45 left to go, second quarter. Boyd on top, 7-6.
That would have been a 42-yard punt if they could have stopped it at the 1. For some reason, one of the streakers here on the near side wasn't cognizant of where the ball was, allowed the ball to get beyond him. If he was still running with it, that would have been able to be down at least inside the 5, if not right at that 1.
We'll check down with John Leidy right after this play. 1st and 10 for McKinney Boyd, moving right to left now here in the second quarter. 11:45 left to go in the second. First down, and whistles blow before this play could get underway. Sears at quarterback. He got the ball and was rolling out right side, but I believe it's going to be a false start on Neil Johnson, the slot back.
Only second penalty on Boyd. That's only 15 yards. And we saw in their first game where they racked up nearly 10 total penalties for the game. Right now they're on pace for a little bit better performance. Pace for about 6 or so.
Neil Johnson was actually lined up at tight end. And this will be second down and 15 after the penalty. Sears, the quarterback, is going to hand off. A.J. Jones up the middle, breaks one tackle, breaks another, up to the 24-yard line. A nice run there, but it's still going to be short of the first down.
Well, it's a good – go ahead, Monty.
Well, it'll bring up second down and about 7.
Well, it's a good play for 1st and 15. You get more than half of what you need for the next first down. More impressive, A.J. Jones ran up the middle, and he made a couple of guys miss. Right now it looks like the running game's starting to find its feet for the Broncos, especially on the offensive line.
On second down and 7, this is going to be a toss right side. A.J. Jones has a lot of room and almost enough for a first down, but I believe he's going to be knocked out at about the 28-yard line, a couple yards short of that first down marker. So this will bring up a pretty crucial third down early on in this game. And right now the scoreboard's saying 3rd and 1, and I believe that's a long one. John Leidy talked to us. How is that a long 1 yard there?
Yes, sir, it is a long one. With a dive at the end of that run, he may have had the first down, but of course it was on the opposite sideline. I wasn't able to see it all that great.
All right, 11:02 left to go. An early score we have from you from the Dallas Independent School District. Saxe on top of Spruce, 28-0, and that's in the first. Wow. 11:02 here in the second quarter. McKinney Boyd on top, 7-6. It's going to be a handoff. A.J. Jones left side, trapped in the backfield once again. And I believe it was his fullback who kind of got ran over there. It might have been Neil Johnson in the backfield who didn't make the block. And Cameron Hoffman, the nose tackle for Springtown, was right there to meet Jones.
Yeah, good pressure from the Springtown backside. Jones was trying to make a couple of moves out there on the left side, and that allowed the backside pressure to catch up.
Miller Burns back to punt it away for McKinney Boyd. Stands at his own 15-yard line. Again, moving right to left on the radio dial. Back to receive this punt will be Jesse Hodge, who stands at his own 45. It's a low line drive kick, going to go out of bounds. Hodge has no chance. The ball may have been tipped. And on the tip was Ryan Griffin, who actually got in and got a hand on that ball. So Boyd very lucky to actually have gotten that punt as far as it went. And John Leidy, I know, probably had a look at that one. John?
Yes, McKinney Boyd actually got a great break there. Right before the ball was snapped, the wind started gusting really bad. He did get a low line drive punt off, which was probably the best option, rather than putting that ball high up in the air and letting the wind catch it.
All right, thanks, John. They're going to say that the ball landed just shy of midfield at the 48-yard line, so Springtown in pretty good shape here at the McKinney Boyd 48. 10:15 left to go before half. Logan Turner wants to throw it down the field. Has a man wide open as Jesse Hodge. He makes the catch at the 12 and strolls into the end zone. Touchdown Springtown, just like that, a 48-yard strike from Logan Turner to Jesse Hodge. Both of them have connected already tonight. That's the second time. Logan Turner's 7th touchdown pass on the year, and Hodge's 4th.
48-yard pass, 1st and 10 on the first play of the possession. It's pretty convincing. Just out of the outstretched tips of the defender. He was going for the deflection. If he could make that, it would have been a big one. A good pattern by Hodge, a good pass by Turner. You see why these two are ranking up the numbers here tonight.
And they are lining up for two, trying to get that point back from earlier on. And a timeout has been called. We'll keep it right here while they discuss what they want to do here. McKinney Boyd, I believe, called the timeout.
They did.
And John Leidy talked to us down there. What do you think the McKinney Boyd Broncos are looking at doing right here?
I'm sorry I didn't hear what you said, but I did get a chance to step in on the huddle for the offensive linemen. They're talking about how they can control up the middle that penetration that's getting into the backfield that's causing the McKinney Boyd running back to have to try to bounce it outside.
All right, thanks, John. Great insight down there. Looking for some more scores, and we'll try to pass those along to you in just a moment.
I've got one for you. You've got Duncanville trailing Hebron 10-7. Hebron, the only reason we bring that up was a former district mate of the McKinney ISD last year. They were a pretty dominant power in the district. In fact, North finished second to them in the district. But they're up into 5A now. You know, it shows you something when they're beating the likes of Duncanville. They're a pretty good school.
Hebron has always been a good program, as actually here of late anyway, under Brian Brazel in former years. Here on the two-point conversion, Logan Turner wants to run it. He tucks it up, and he's not even touched as he goes into the end zone. And they do get their points back. It is now a 14-7 game. Springtown on top. Back in a moment on 97.5 KLAK. Welcome back to Ron Post Stadium. Monty Walker along with Brandon Helms, John Leidy, and Jarrett Foyt. It was a one-play 48-yard drive for Springtown, and that one play was a Logan Turner to Jesse Hodge 48-yard touchdown, and it took only 9 seconds off the clock. 10:07 left to go, second quarter. Springtown now leads 14-7 after the two-point conversion ran in by quarterback Logan Turner.
Can you call that a drive? What do you call it? I mean, it's not really a drive. It's a one-play flash.
I guess officially it's a drive, and here's the kickoff by – oh, it's going to be taken by A.J. Jones, who jumps up and hits him in the numbers. He's going to go out to the 15-yard line and be taken down at the 19. And a flag is down at the 40-yard line, right where Springtown kicked off, and they're probably a legal procedure as someone probably went too early.
Generally, and in the area of an offsides on the kickoff, and that looked like what it is. Generally, you're going to see the offsides on the kickoff a lot more, and that's what it is, offsides. You're going to see that a lot more in the beginning part of the schedule. That's something that once you do more repetitions in practice, once you do more of it in games, the timing gets down better between the coverage team and the kicker, and then they won't cross as often. When we've seen that a few times early in the season, we've probably seen it now at this point in the season more than we'll see it, the rest of the way.
Colt Trotter will tee it up once again for Springtown. He'll back it up 5 yards, so he'll tee it up from the 35. Back deep again is A.J. Jones and Jeff Fuller for McKinney Boyd. Also Jamel Minor, who will stand at the 18-yard line. Again, a lot of people may not know this. Jamel Minor and A.J. Jones are actually brothers. Minor will stand as the up man. Jones and Fuller once again standing about the 5-yard line, and Trotter's kick is going to be a low line drive. It's going to bounce in front of A.J. Jones, who picks it up at the 5, running up to the middle, out to the 20, and now pushed back to the 19-yard line, and that's where McKinney Boyd will take over. 1st and 10 from their own 19, 9:52 left to go, second quarter. Little Elm on top of Denton Geyer, 21-3, a score that we just want to pass along there.
Well, Ford Prague is going to put Jones up to the 20, so in essence it's basically a 1-yard penalty against. It's going to go down as a 5-yard penalty, but Springtown is going to only really, in actual field of play, lose about a yard on the penalty.
The Colony over R.L. Turner 3-0 early on.
District foe.
Again, 14-7 here, Springtown on top of McKinney Boyd. 9:52 left to go before half. This is going to be a toss right side. A.J. Jones has the 20 and looking for more. Flag down as he goes out at the 24-yard line. And it's starting to get a little sloppy out there, and I believe it's going to be a hold against McKinney Boyd. We'll check it. And is it getting a little sloppy down there on the sidelines, John?
Yes, guys, it's getting just a little sloppy down here. I think this penalty is actually going to be a block below the waist out there on the wide receiver. Just instead of using their speed to catch back up to block the guy, they're diving for him. And the first quarter, the heads were up. It's all pumped down here, but since that last touchdown, the heads are starting to kind of fall down a little bit. The momentum's starting to change a little bit. So we're going to have to see how that's going to play out in this game.
All right, thanks, John. They're going to back this one up. And right now they're placing the ball at the 12-yard line. So, again, McKinney Boyd going to need to get some momentum here. Chase Enos will split out wide left. Jeff Fuller split out wide right. I formation. Philip Sears still in at quarterback. You heard earlier in the week that Yarborough might be in and out. Sears stumbles out of the gate, trips over his center, and actually tries to toss it back to Jones and tosses it out of the end zone. But whistles actually blew before the play.
It was knee touched. They were able to dodge the bullet there. Apparently the center step, but that's one of the worst things you can do. What Sears was trying to do, and I'll give him credit for at least trying to keep the play alive, was keep it alive, give it to Jones, allow Jones to make the play. But when you do that, I mean that's when you hand it off, that is a timing play first and foremost.
An ugly play from the get-go on that one. Enos and Fuller split out wide, I formation. Again, A.J. Jones in the backfield, Philip Sears at quarterback. It'll be second down and a long way to go, 2nd and 20. Sears wants to throw and make it up here. Fuller is double covered at the 36-yard line, out of bounds, and it is incomplete as the ball actually was thrown out of bounds. Fuller had no chance.
Yeah, no matter what happened, there's a lot of contact on both sides there. Some jostling back and forth between Fuller and a couple of guys in coverage, but none of it matters because it's an uncatchable ball.
So it'll be 3rd down and 20 for McKinney Boyd at their own 10-yard line. 8:58 left to go before the half. And, if you're a Boyd fan, you'd really like to see the Broncos come back here and tie this football game up and just trade blows for a second. And now you see Sears going to hand off A.J. Jones on 3rd and 20. Big hole, look out. He's got the 20. He's got the 25-30. He may have the first down up to the 30 and down right there. And I'm going to tell you what, it's going to be very close.
No, it's not. It's first down, Monty. Plain and simple. Nice run by Jones. Good blocking by the line. You got to give credit. Let's first off give credit to the left side there between Nathan Lynchard and Reese Redmond. The offensive line, they made a huge hole for Jones to follow through. Now, granted, the Porcupine defense back in pass coverage, so that allowed once Jones got past Lynchard and Redmond to get 10 yards downfield before he had to do anything. But then Jones made the last 10 yards himself and was able to get another one, a 21-yard gain.
that could be a play that we look back on later on in this football game. A huge third down conversion there on 3rd and 20. And here's going to be A.J. Jones get the toss once again. He bumps it out and changes direction again. Now changes to the far side. He's going to have to outrun everybody to the far sideline. Has the 30, 35, 40. Look out a seam. He's got the 50 and barrels his way out across midfield to the 48-yard line. An incredible run by A.J. Jones, who was in all kinds of trouble behind the line. Done a spin around behind the line of scrimmage, a la Tony Dorsett. Somehow had to have the speed to fight his way to the other sideline, and did.
That's going to be a play that'll drive a coach crazy. Because now, I mean, right now Jones not as disciplined when running north and south as you'd like your runner to be. And once you have success on a play like that, a lot of times they'll go back to it and cause a lot of problems. But as it was, that worked out well because of Springtown's. They were running to the ball, and they overran the turnaround by Jones.
Neil Johnson in at fullback in front of A.J. Jones. Phillip Sears looks over to Chase Enos, wants to say, or Fuller rather. No, that's Fuller. And now he's going to call a timeout. He's trying to get something lined up with Jeff Fuller, and he calls a timeout. We're going to take 1-2. 7:48 left to go, second quarter. McKinney Boyd down 14-7 to Springtown on 97.5 KLAK. Too early to sing the blues here. Sears wants to throw it down the field. Has Fuller. He's double covered, but he's open somehow, and he makes the catch at the 6-yard line. I tell you what, when in doubt, just throw it up and let Jeff Fuller go get it. He is 6'5", and probably about $180. I don't have his exact weight, but Fuller's a big kid, and he makes a big catch there.
Simple 40-yard pass to Fuller. He overran his coverage, and then the coverage tried to keep up with him, and it was an underthrown pass, and he just dove forward to get that one. Or not dove forward, just move forward. And they quick snap here, Monty. They snuck it up by Phillip Sears. It was at the 7-yard line. It was a quick quarterback sneak trying to catch the defense off guard. Sears surges forward for 3 yards. That'll bring up 2nd and goal now at the 4.
7:12 left to go, second quarter. John Leidy, talk about Jeff Fuller.
Yes, Jeff Fuller is just an awesomely tall man. That ball was actually a little underthrown, and he was able to come back and get that.
On second down, they're going to hand off A.J. Jones up the middle. Not a whole lot of room to work with. Flags down, and that could be a face mask. And
well, that's going to be 15-yarder, or the personal foul variety. When your helmet goes flying out, there's a good bet something wasn't right on that play. It didn't just fall. It shot out of the pile.
And there is someone picking up the Boyd Bronco helmet there, and a man is injured. A Bronco is injured.
That looks like Jones, Monty.
And it is A.J. Jones, as Jared Ford points out up in the booth, that it is A.J. Jones down, and that's why you have 15-yard penalties on those face masks like that. And I know John is down on the sidelines. John, can you talk about how that happened?
Yes, guys. A.J. Jones was actually hitting it up the middle with the football, and the defensive end came around the end and caught him, trying to tackle him, caught him across the front of the face, and that helmet did go flying.
All right, John.
And also, Brandon, on that pass play, when A.J. Jones ran that ball for about 30 yards, he took the words out of my mouth. A coach would like to see the running back go north and south and not do that what he did, reverse it back to the other side of the field, because he's going to get in a comfort zone of doing that, and it's going to get him in trouble.
Well, A.J. Jones is up. And obviously a round of applause for him as he makes his way off the field. And that'll switch things up in the backfield for McKinney Boyd, as it will be 1st and goal for Boyd. And Jones has made his way up to the 3-yard line. They'll spot it to the 2, half the distance now. So 6:51 and rolling here, and into the game it will be Nate Hill at tailback behind the fullback and Neil Johnson. Sears goes under center, drops the snap, picks it back up, and now whistles blow. So an unfortunate turn there for Boyd, looks like, as they had it 1st and goal at the 2, and now flags down.
Well, it's going to be not a flag down. When the exchange on the snap was fumbled, Sears went to a knee to pick it up. So it's going to be another loss of a yard. Second time we've seen that happen. Right now the center quarterback exchange not functioning very well for Boyd.
Well, second down and goal from the 3 now for Boyd. This is going to be a handoff. Nate Hill running left side, trying to find the corner. He is into the end zone. It's touchdown time in Texas for McKinney Boyd. Nate Hill comes in and does the job for A.J. Jones, who has to go out. And with the extra point, Boyd can tie it right here with 6:11 left to go before the half.
Offense looking good. They're not struggling in a lot of situations like we saw the first broadcast we did, which was Boyd's first game. They're passing the ball very well. They've got 3 completions on 6 attempts. They're running the ball well. Here's the kick.
And the extra point is no good. And now, once again, we have an odd score. 14-13, Springtown in the lead. You hope that doesn't come back to haunt them here on 97.5 KLAK. Welcome back to Ron Post Stadium. 6:11 left to go in the second quarter. McKinney Boyd just scores. It's Nate Hill on a 3-yard touchdown run. And get this, a 10-play, 80-yard drive for McKinney Boyd and their Broncos. Takes 3 minutes and 48 seconds off the clock. And here we are, 14-13 Springtown in a barn burner at Ron Post Stadium. 6:11 left to go, second quarter, Brandon.
Well, this is the first time that we've seen Boyd's character really challenged. There was a couple. You could probably isolate a couple of ones that we saw in the first game, but right now they responded back after that last touchdown. You got to like that if you're a Boyd fan.
Yarborough trying almost an onside kick. It's going to be a squibber. Boyd may have a shot at this one at the 34-yard line. The referees will unpile everyone, and now they say Springtown jumped on it. And I don't have an indication yet of who came off the pile, and I believe it's going to be Brian Bowling coming off the pile, 6'3", 180, and he used all of 6'3" to come off of that. And now Brandon points out it's Ty Burtnett.
Yeah, the starting defensive lineman was able to jump on that one.
So Springtown will start from their own 34-yard line with 6:06 left to go before the half. They have a 1-point lead, 14-13.
Not to state the obvious, but with 6 minutes left to go until halftime, that would have been a huge momentum shift if Boyd could have hopped on that one.
3 receivers to the far side, one to the near. Turner wants to throw far side. He has his man Sylvie caught, making his way up to the 40-yard line and down at the 41. His feet just simply slipped out from under him. Weston Eubanks comes up and will get credit for the tackle, but he didn't have to do anything except kind of look at him because Sylvie simply just fell down at the 41.
And Sylvie trying to make the 90-degree cut there. It's always a tough one to make.
Second down, and the scoreboard says 3. Looks a little bit more like 4. 5:36 and rolling here in the second quarter. Springtown on top, 14-13. Logan Turner in shotgun formation for Springtown. Sends 3 receivers to the right side. Low snap's going to keep it himself up the middle. A big hole, 50, 45, up to the 40. Dragging a man across the 35 to the 32-yard line. It'll be 1st and 10, and now a late flag comes in at the end of that play. And that's usually not good for the hometown team. As a big run there by Logan Turner. And again, Turner came in rushing 45 times for 266 yards and 2 touchdowns, and he's had a couple of big ones tonight.
Well, if that play stands, it's a 27-yard gain. We've got a personal foul now on Boyd after the play. March it off even more. Well, not what you wanted from your defense coming out of the chute after your offense just scored a touchdown.
Some scores to pass along. We have the Colony 13-3 over R.L. Turner, and that one's early on. Also, we have Denton Ryan 10 and South Oak Cliff nothing. Frisco Wakeland 14-0 over Pope John Paul. 1st and 10 here for Springtown, deep in McKinney Boyd territory. Throwing it out left side, incomplete, trying to find Jesse Hodge, and this one goes through his hands. It would have been enough for a first, but it was a little bit high. Bring up 2nd down and 10 from the McKinney Boyd 17, 5:06 left to go before half.
How do you like this stat line, Monty? Right now, Logan Turner, 10 completions on 14 attempts, 161 yards passing, and 2 touchdowns.
Well, the young man is going to SMU, and there's a good reason for that. He's very talented. Not a real big quarterback in stature, 6'1", 180, but I guess big enough to say I'm going to SMU.
He reminds me of their current quarterback a lot, Justin Willis, the former Denton Ryan product.
This is going to be Turner keeping it left side, has the 10, has the 5, and knocked out of bounds at the 3-yard line. So Boyd desperately trying to keep Springtown out of the end zone here with 5 minutes left to go before half. They already have the 1-point lead, 14-13, but really Boyd needs to desperately keep Springtown off the scoreboard here before half.
Right now, Turner's starting to figure it out on the ground. They shut down they've shut down the tailback Kubrak and in his place Al Owens. Right now, Logan Turner 6 carries for 52 yards. A good chunk of it coming here on this drive.
Kubrak will run out right side, and this is going to be Turner, who is trapped in the backfield, and he's going to go down for a loss. One of the first plays for a loss tonight for McKinney Boyd is coming up from the defensive end position is Robert Sparks, who makes the stop behind the line of scrimmage. A nice play there.
Well, that's the first official sack. They've gotten Turner behind the line before, but those came on rushing attempts. This one on a passing pattern, and they're now looking at a second goal at the 11. They're going to give it a 10.
Yeah, the scoreboard says 10, but it's in between the 10 and the 11. Kubrak will stand to the left side of Logan Turner. It's a shotgun formation, 2 receivers to either side, and he's going to fake the hand. He's going to keep it, run left side in traffic, and now he escapes down to the 5-yard line and marked down at the 4, so it'll be 3rd down and goal from the 4-yard line. And this is a very, very key play for McKinney Boyd to keep Springtown out of the end zone. And, you know, it may be one of these situations where Springtown will try on 4th down if they don't get it here.
Well, doesn't know if they have too much confidence in their kicking game. They missed 1 extra point, didn't even try on the second, just went for 2. Right now on the game, 3rd down conversions, they're 2 of 4. This will be the 5th try, and it's probably arguably the biggest try of the night on 3rd down. So
Hodge split out wide left. He's looking over to the near side, however. Throws it in the middle of the end zone. Sylvie had it for a moment and dropped it. It'll be 4th down. Sylvie coming across the backside of that end zone. Had the ball but bobbled it a little bit. Matt Morton for McKinney Boyd comes up and makes the stop. A nice play there by Matt Morton as he just didn't allow Sylvie to keep juggling that ball.
And after Morton hit him, Sylvie almost had a chance to get on, grab that one out of the air. He wasn't able to do it because coming in was the corner on the other side for the Broncos, Chris Thornton, and he finished the play up.
As we mentioned, it's 4th down, and Springtown's going to go for it. It'll be 4th and goal from the 4.
0-1 so far on 4th.
Logan Turner, shotgun formation, 2 receivers to either side. Split out wide right is Chase Ray. Jesse Hodge has been his favorite receiver when it gets close to the touchdown time, and he's split out wide left. Turner, shotgun, bad snap. Turner has to go back and get it. He's at the 16, in trouble. Behind the line of scrimmage, throws it down in the end zone and wide open, and all alone for the touchdown is Jesse Hodge.
Wow, that's his 3rd.
How unfortunate for McKinney Boyd. However, Jared Foyt points out that there is a flag right at the line of scrimmage.
And it's on Springtown. I can tell by the reaction of Hodge.
It is actually
never mind.
offsides against Boyd.
What do I know?
And it will be a touchdown for Springtown. That is just remarkably unlucky.
Well, I'm not sure what happened. Of course, we saw the bad snap, but it seemed like there were 4 or 5 blue jerseys just headed for Turner, and that's way too many. I'm wondering if somebody uncovered saw it and just tried to go after it.
Low snap. The point after is going to be true. 21-13, Springtown in the lead. 3:26 before half. Back in a moment on 97.5 KLAK. Welcome back to Ron Post Stadium. Monty Walker along with Brandon Helms and John Leidy and Jared Foyt. And all of the gang here. It's 21-13, Springtown in the lead after that 6-play 66-yard drive that took 2 minutes, 32 seconds off the clock. And once again, it seems like always we talk about the scoring drive capped off. Logan Turner to Jesse Hodge for the touchdown. It goes down officially as 4 yards, but it was actually about a 15-yard pass as Turner had to roll behind the line of scrimmage after the bad snap, picked it up, found Hodge all alone.
That's a play inexperienced defenses make.
Here's the kickoff for Springtown. A.J. Jones is back in the game. He's going to take it, and he's up to the 30-yard line, and that's where McKinney Boyd will take over. They have 3:19 to go before half and desperately need to answer here after that score.
Well, I'm still stunned by that one.
And you know, John Leidy's down there and has a lot to talk about the mood of the team, I'm sure now.
Guys, this is looking a lot like the Prosper game where the opponent scored right before halftime. I'm hoping that the outcome of this game is not like the Prosper game. We'll have to see in the second half how this is going to play.
Well, 1st down and 10 here for Boyd, and they need to start out on a good foot right here. They have a chance to have some momentum right before the half. 1st and 10 from their own 30-yard line. Again, A.J. Jones back in the game, and now whistles will blow before this one could get underway, and I believe it's going to be false start against McKinney Boyd, so not getting off to a good start there, as now it'll be 1st and 15.
Starting to rack up the penalties. That's number 5 for 45.
And that was one thing last week that Boyd really didn't have a problem, or 2 weeks ago, that Boyd really didn't have a problem with. And here's another whistle before the play gets underway.
I think there's a problem on the far sideline. They marked it a 2nd down at the sticks when that wasn't, obviously.
Scores to pass along. Rockwall losing to South Lake Carroll 10-7. And the Colony once again 13-3 over R.L. Turner. Denison losing to Paris early on, and Sherman beating Sulphur Springs 3-0. And this is going to be A.J. Jones dots the I. He gets a handoff, coming near side, wants to cut it back. Now he's in trouble again. He's going to make his way up to the 29-yard line. And I believe that's actually going to be no gain on the play, so it'll bring up a 2nd down and long. 3:02 left to go before half. Springtown on top, 21-13 here at Ron Poe Stadium. Ball at the 25-yard line. I believe I said 29, but at the 25-yard line. Clock rolling at 2:43. Moving right to left is McKinney Boyd. Sears has been the quarterback the whole way. Drops back, wants to throw near side, and overshoots Parker Belenius on the near side, and that'll bring up 3rd down. He not only barely missed him, but he threw it over his head by about 3 feet.
He's not a tall kid.
Well, he's used to
not
chase.
Short.
In Sears' defense, he's used to Chase Enos out there, and Jeff Fuller on the far side. Both go about 6'5". Parker Belenius nowhere near 6'5". And now it'll be 3rd down and long. 2:34 on the clock. Fuller split out wide right. This is going to be Johnson and Jones in the backfield. Sears is going to hand off. Now he wants to throw it again. Steps up in the pocket. And a face mask called against Springtown as Sears scrambles, and he makes his way up to the 33-yard line. And a nice job there of Sears just staying in the pocket, hanging out. And once he had that face mask caught, he was actually able to see some daylight and took advantage of it.
Well, unfortunately, a face mask is attack on the end of the run is not going to give him that extra down. And what's going to happen is Sears is going to be 1 yard short. Oh, no, they're giving the 15. Never mind. Take it all back.
Wow. That's pretty generous if you're a Boyd fan, getting that 15-yard penalty.
Well, the problem is on the last series we saw A.J. Jones get down to the deck, and once you see that, the refs aren't going to be as forgiving when you almost injure a guy for the face mask.
So 1st down and 10, 2:18 on the 2nd quarter clock, just shy of midfield. Toss left side, A.J. Jones has a seam, cuts it back inside 45, and really brought down hard at the 45-yard line. Coming in to make the stop for Springtown was Tim Downing, the linebacker, 6 foot, 170-pound senior. And that's another thing we talk about when we talk about Boyd, all of these seniors that they're playing against. Of course, Boyd has a lot of sophomores, but if you look at the starting defense for Springtown, you have 7 seniors, 3 juniors, and 1 sophomore, and that defensive line average is 238 a man. Obviously a bigger matchup. Here's Jones, gets the handoff up the middle, and he's going to be ankle tackled at the 43-yard line. It's going to be a hold against McKinney Boyd as they were trying to fight their way, and Jones might have even had the 1st down, but now they're going to obviously back it up after this. John Leidy's down on the sidelines looking up here. John, what do you got?
Yes, guys, that same right defensive end for Springtown is the same one that committed that face mask on McKinney Boyd again. You mentioned that the refs are keeping an eye on him. When it's the same guy, I would be keeping an eye on him too.
All right, thanks a lot, John. They'll move the ball back after the penalty inside Boyd territory at the 47-yard line. So penalties racking up here on Boyd. This has been very sloppy.
6 of them, 55 yards so far for the half.
Speaking of the half, we're almost there. 1:31 left to go, and they call a timeout back in a moment on 97.5 KLAK. 1:31 left to go before half. Sears is going to drop back, wants to throw. He's under pressure. Now he goes out left side, and it's almost intercepted and dropped. Actually, It should have been intercepted, but it was dropped by Brandon Weeks, the cornerback. The right cornerback was all alone. No one around him. Had it in the breadbasket and dropped it.
Yeah, no excuse for that one. Sears looking downfield. He was trying to hit his receiver here on the near side, Parker Belenius, but he thought Parker was just going to do a button curl, and instead it looked like Parker was running an out. And once Parker made his cut, the ball was already in the air. Miscommunication there. Again, that's what happens when you have guys who haven't played together before. You get miscommunications like that.
$1:24 on the second quarter clock. Fuller split out wide right. They're going to run the option. Sears is going to keep it. He's up to the 50-yard line and down right there at the 50, so it'll bring up a 4th down and 9 with 1:17 left to go on the clock. Springtown, I believe, is going to call a timeout here.
They did.
We're going to keep it right here as Springtown has the lead, 21-13 here at Ron Poe Stadium. John Leidy down on the sidelines is roaming right by that McKinney Boyd bench, and I think there's a little bit of discouragement going on right now.
Yes, guys, there is a little bit of discouragement. After the past 2 football games, it's kind of been the tale of 2 halves.
All right, I like that. John Leidy, the poet. Who was that?
Tale of Two Cities? Is that what you're making reference to?
Yeah, who was the...
I believe that was Dickens, but I could be wrong.
It is, Charles Dickens, that's right. I'm going to ask the college boy up here, Jared Foyt, here in a minute. We may actually get Jared on at half. We'll see if we can...
Hey, I graduated.
We'll see if we can put him on at half here. Maybe we'll let John Leidy talk to him a little bit.
Uh-oh.
4th down.
Bulldog versus a lion.
Yeah, how will that work? 4th down and 9 for McKinney Boyd. They'll punt this one away as the line of scrimmage is the exact 50-yard line. It'll be Miller Burns standing at his own 37-yard line to punt this one away. And actually, that's Yarborough, I believe. Coming up for the punt would be Owens, but he's going to let this one roll. It's going to be dead at the 10-yard line. I have to check that. I believe that was Yarborough on the punt. And a nice punt it is as it goes down to the 10-yard line, and that's where Springtown will take over with 1:06 left to go in the second quarter, and they have the lead 21-13.
Line of scrimmage at the 50. Punt goes down to the 10. Easy math there. 40-yard punt for Yarborough. Now Springtown takes over with a little over minute 6 left to go in the half. And they've got to go 90 yards if they want to think about putting points on the scoreboard. But at this point, you also got to think about making a mistake, because that would be crucial when you're only up a touchdown.
Split out wide is Chase Ray to the near side. I'm sure Owens is far left, and I'll have to check, and he is. Hodge, rather, far left. As Turner, the quarterback, shotgun as always. He's going to run it. He has the 10, a lot of room, 15, 20. Trying to find the far corner, and he has the 25-yard line, and the 1st down and out of bounds, exactly a minute on the clock as it goes out of bounds here. So I'm sure Boyd thinking that they're just going to try to heave a couple down the field, spread out the field, and Turner had some running room.
15-yard gain, took 6 seconds off the clock. Of course, the clock stops with the 1st down, and he got out of bounds, so it wouldn't have mattered anyway.
3 receivers to the near side. Turner drops back 2 steps, looking over left side, Hodge, and it's caught and out of bounds for a 1st down there at the 37-yard line. So Turner and Hodge have just connected all night and really all year. I mentioned earlier that Hodge came in with 16 catches for 257 yards and 2 touchdowns. He's caught 3 more tonight.
Well, if you want the specifics, I can give them to you. 7 catches for Hodge, 134 yards, 3 touchdowns. He also has a fumble. Meanwhile, 179 yards, or rather 7 yards throwing for Logan Turner. He's also thrown those 3 touchdowns.
3 receivers again to the near side for Turner, who looks down the middle of the field and has a man, Sylvie, caught at the Boyd 45-yard line, down at the 41. So they're just playing pass and catch here. And when I say they, I mean Springtown, as they're just moving right down the field. They have gone from their own 10 to the 25, up to the 37, and now into Boyd territory at the 40. And they've done that in only about 15 seconds. Here is Turner in shotgun, looking left side for Hodge again, out of bounds after the catch is made. Another 1st down for Hodge, and Turner 38 seconds on the clock, and that'll take the ball out to about the 30-yard line. So a 10, call it 11-yard gain to the 29 for Springtown. And, you wonder, well, why don't they do this all night long if they're this effective running that spread offense? And obviously McKinney Boyd trying to defend that. And here is Turner once again, drops back. He wants to throw it down the field into the end zone. He has Hodge, and guess what? It's caught for a touchdown. The 4th time tonight, Logan Turner has hit Jesse Hodge. It's bordering on the unbelievable now.
187 yards receiving.
A 29-yard touchdown strike from Turner to Hodge for the 4th time tonight. 32 seconds left on the clock. And I tell you what, Springtown, they're not looking like a team who's 0-3 right now. The extra point by Weeks is good, so that'll bring our new score 28-13. Springtown in the lead. 32 seconds left to go before half. Back in a moment on 97.5 KLAK. Welcome back to Ron Post Stadium. 28-13. Springtown in the lead here, and bordering on, like I said a moment ago, it is bordering on the unbelievable. Logan Turner, who has committed to SMU as the Quail onside is being faked there by Springtown. He hits Jesse Hodge rather, for the 4th time tonight. This one 29 yards. It was a 6-play, 90-yard drive that only took 32 seconds off the clock. Here's the kickoff. It's going to be taken over the head, actually, of A.J. Jones. They have that wind at their back, and this one, literally, they took advantage of it, and it went in the end zone and out of bounds. So Boyd will take over at the 20-yard line. But a 6-play, 90-yard drive that took 32 seconds off the clock, and Logan Turner looked like Troy Aikman on that drive.
I'm going to go with Donovan McNabb. He was able to run, too.
Well, that's true. Maybe Steve Young in his day.
There you go.
Well, can Boyd answer back? 32 seconds. Phillip Sears into the game at quarterback. He's been there all night so far. A.J. Jones jumps over a couple of tacklers and cannot make his way back up to the line of scrimmage. He'll go down at the 19. Ty Burtnett makes the stop for Springtown. 6'2", 215-pound junior, and an injured McKinney Boyd Bronco is down, and that's going to be Rusty Walton. And he's kind of the anchor there, the center of that offensive line. Really their most dominant offensive lineman, and that can't be good if he's down. And into the game will come Justin Cordova.
He's a starter on defense, too, so that could put your two-way starters up to 6, or two-way players at least.
18 seconds on the second quarter clock. That's right. It's only the second quarter as we approach the 9 o'clock hour in North Texas on the last day of summer. Again, an injury timeout situation here as Rusty Walton is down at the 19-yard line. And Don Drake checking on him. He looks like he's doing okay down there. Now he's going to halfway get up. We'll check down with John Leidy. John, did you see what happened to Mr. Walton on that play?
I did not see it. It appears to actually be a lower leg injury. Something I did see on that last play that, in my opinion, I did not like, and we actually talked about this last week, was A.J. Jones actually took to the air and jumped over a defender on the ground, letting the defense actually swarm in on him. That's something Brandon might want to elaborate up there. Back up to y'all.
All right, thanks a lot, John. And Brandon, you'll just get right on that.
Well, yeah, basically what happens when you leave your feet, you have no chance to do anything because you're at the mercy of the defense. If they grab you by the ankles, you're going to slam your face into the ground. If you're up in the air and the defense lands a square shoulder on you, it's going to be a hard hit. You're going to get slammed into the ground. Basically, unless you're hurdling one guy and one guy only, hurdling is not going to give you an advantage, and it's going to be the exact opposite because you're allowing somebody else. You just got to grab an ankle. If you tip the ankle, you've made the tackle.
Watch the center exchange here. Reese Redmond moves over to center. And it'll be second down, only 5 seconds forward. They're not even going to let it They're not even going to snap it here. They're not going to take that chance. As the clock winds down to 0 here in the second quarter. It is halftime. And McKinney Boyd down 28-13 to Springtown. Back in a moment on 97.5 KLAK. Welcome back to Ron Post Stadium. Monty Walker along with Brandon Helms, John Leidy, and Jared Foyt. It is halftime. And McKinney Boyd trailing in this one 28-13 to Springtown. The Porcupines in their Pojo. And their
such a ripoff.
Their Pojo is on top right now.
Oh, I hate that. It's such a ripoff. I'm not a Mojo fan at all, but it's still obvious ripoff there for the Panthers, the Odessa Permian Panthers.
I want to thank our sponsors once again, Eldorado Motors and McKinneySports.net, a couple of them. You know, and another thing, McKinneySports.net, you can actually log online right now and see keep up with the games on their scoreboard. Right now, you'll see on McKinneySports.net, the scoreboard reads 28-13. Springtown in the lead, and it's been one of those halves where you thought for a moment that McKinney Boyd was going to come out smelling like roses at the half because, you know, it wasn't too long ago they had the 7-6 lead and were trailing only 14-13 at one point in the second quarter. But then Springtown really turned it on. They had their quarterback, Logan Turner, who's committed to SMU, really showed why in the latter stages of that second quarter.
Well, you can go back to that one play, fourth down, bad snap, and for some reason the guys, you know, not that this is always a bad thing, but when you've got an athletic quarterback like Turner it is, the guys skipped coverage and just started going after the ball. And when the quarterback's in shotgun and the snap goes over his head, he's already got 4 yards on the defense before they can even react. And odds are Turner's going to turn around and put more distance between them, and that's exactly what happened. And when somebody left coverage there, I mean, a guy you don't want to leave wide open, Jesse Hodge, he's got 4 touchdowns now. That was his third. Left wide open in the far end corner of the end zone there, right at the back. You know, that's not a situation where Turner's not going to find him at all. And that was just such a momentum killer. And then you saw it on that 90-yard drive.
We'll try to pass along some scores as we read them here off the scoreboard. We have Saxe. Well, I didn't catch that one fast.
42-6 over Spruce.
They really go fast here. Sulphur Springs defeating Sherman 3-0, and that one is at half. We'll try to catch some more here later on. The last ones we had locally, South Lake Carroll over Rockwall 10-7, and also the Colony over R.L. Turner 13-3. You know, this is going to be the last game before district next week. All you know, you're going to have McKinney and McKinney Boyd. Obviously, McKinney searching for their 500th victory in school history, UIL terms. Now they have 547 that have been researched beyond 1920. They have I think 47 victories beyond that have been actually researched. Those haven't been verified. But from 1920 through current, they have 499, and those are verified. So looking for 500 against little brother McKinney Boyd next week.
Yeah,
that ought to be fun.
Yeah, sure. Good times, especially if you're on the McKinney side.
Well, the McKinney Lions obviously looking for number 500 and are going to be favored in that football game,
well,
obviously.
Here's one thing you got to look at least from that game. One way or another, a milestone will come out of it.
Yeah?
It'll be either 1 or it'll be 500.
Well, assuming that
right.
Boyd doesn't come back and win this game tonight, obviously. But down 28-13 at half, and to a Springtown team that shows some firepower offensively right before the half, it looks like things are in cruise control for Springtown.
Well, you got a good quarterback who on the last 2 drives have, I don't know, about 150 yards in total offense.
Yeah.
A lot of it through the air, a lot of it with his feet. He's got a receiver who's at this point caught 9 catches. 4 of them have been for touchdown. I mean,
it's unbelievable.
This is such a dominating performance by Springtown. And here's the positive news. Boyd is going to take the first half kickoff. Now, that'll be one of the best opportunities the Broncos will have to set the stage for the second half. If they can churn out a long play, churn that yardage, churn that clock, just keep things moving down the field. If 6 minutes gone by and you look up and 6 minutes have gone off the game clock, you're having a good drive, and that'll set the stage and say, hey, you guys can score all you want to. We're going to control this game. That could be a shot in the arm. This first possession is going to tell a lot of what we're going to see in the second half.
We talk about how well Springtown performed later on in that second quarter. However, as you mentioned, if Boyd gets on the board here in their first possession, hey, it's a 28-20 game.
Well, as deflated as you feel right now with the way the second quarter ended, all of a sudden one drive, even one play, you feel a lot better about yourself.
The Springtown Porcupines make their way back out on the field on the far sideline. And the Boyd Broncos have already made their way back out on the field. The captains have already met for the ceremonial second half handshake.
Yeah, Robert Sparks has already been out. He was the lone captain for the Broncos.
A little change up here. Going back deep for McKinney Boyd will be Weston Eubanks.
Well, he's got speed like his brother does.
Yeah,
and again, that goes back to what I'm talking about. One play can make a huge amount of difference.
We'll have to check down. We'll send John Leidy on another investigative report and see if A.J. Jones is okay, because Weston Eubanks is in place for Jones, who normally stands back there on that on the right side of Jeff Fuller.
Well, I'm scanning. I don't see him on the sidelines.
Fuller and Eubanks will stand at their own 5-yard line.
Of course, he could be on the field.
I have not yet seen A.J. Jones as well. Jamal Minor, his brother, is standing at the 15 as the up man. Doing the kicking for Springtown will be Colt Trotter. He'll tee it up at the 40-yard line. Again, just getting underway here in the second half as we approach the 9:30 mark. They'll fake the quail on sides, moving left to right, and now they'll call, the ball fell off the tee once again. So a little wind going here. John Leidy down on the sidelines real quick. Have you found anything out about A.J. Jones? And I believe John is down in the corner of the end zone and may have had some problems hearing us. As Colt Trotter will now have someone hold this one for him, and holding it will be Ryan Haskell once again. He had to do this earlier on in the ball game. Again, that wind really whipping from the south end.
We're hearing some boos because they thought that Springtown had kicked the ball.
Well, Trotter will stand about 8 yards away from the ball, teed up at the 40-yard line. Waiting on the whistle. Still no whistle yet. I don't know why they're taking so much time, and now there is one. So Trotter will boot this one away, and the second half is now underway. And it's going to be a low-line drive kick. It's going to be taken by Jamal Minor at the 30. He crosses the 35 and bulls and rams his way to the 37-yard line. Minor just really put his head down and barreled his way up to the 37. A nice return.
That's what I'm talking about. Again, as much as deflated as he felt going out of the first half because of the 2 quick Springtown touchdowns, all of a sudden, decent return on a not a great kick. They were actually kicking into the wind. The holder got up before the ball was kicked, and the ball started falling off the tee. The kicker's not going to kick your hands. You just hold your hand there, let the kicker follow through. But because they didn't do that, now Boyd's going to have good possession on the 37-yard line for their first drive of the half.
Nate Hill in at tailback, and Zach Jones the fullback. A.J. Jones not in the game. Philip Sears the quarterback. Chase Enos and Jeff Fuller split out wide right. This is going to be Sears going under center on 1st down and 10. Moving right to left. Handoff, Zach Jones up the middle. A little bit of running room before he's caught right before the 40-yard line to the 39. Actually going to give him the 40, so a gain of about 3.
And you'll take that every day from your fullback on a 1st and 10 situation. That means you churn out the yards. If you average 3 yards a carry, if you go for it on 4th down, you'll be successful. But it sets up the stage that you have the ability to run the ball, and it makes the defense look for another ball carrier.
2nd down and 7. This is going to be a toss. This is Nate Hill coming to the near sideline, out of bounds at the 45-yard line. A nice carry there, set up 3rd and short.
Well, Nate Hill's got the lone touchdown on the ground for the Broncos, and Got a good block from his fullback, Jones, there. Zach coming up, making a block on the cornerback that allowed Hill to spring it out to the outside, get the 5 yards. Now relatively manageable 3rd and 2. We'll see what they do here. Might give it back to Jones up the middle.
Zach Jones and Hill dots the I. Sears, the quarterback, goes under center. And he's going to hand off. Big hole for Nate Hill up the middle, and he has the first down. Move the sticks for McKinney Boyd, trailing 28-13 here. Just the beginning of the third quarter, 11:16 left to go.
This is the makings of what I was talking about leading off to the second half kickoff. Just churn out the yards. You don't have to get a lot of yards at one time. You know, you're only down 2 touchdowns. If you can get 4 yards a carry, but you do it consistently, you can move down the field, take time off the clock, and set the tempo for the second half.
First down and 10, I formation. McKinney Boyd moving right to left. Zach Jones, the fullback, and they're going to toss this time to Nate Hill, the counter trap. He has a big hole up the middle, breaks a tackle out to the other 45-yard line into Springtown territory. They'll actually mark him after the dive to the 43.
Well-designed play, a lot of misdirection there. It looked like that Nate Hill might give it back to Phillip Sears, and here on the defensive side, biting on the play was cornerback Caleb Bankston, and that allowed Hill to sneak it up a little bit, and that allowed him to get those 8 yards on the carry, actually 9.
Second down and 1. Will you throw the home run ball here? 10:19 left to go, third quarter. Phillip Sears under center, drops back, wants to throw it to the near sideline, and one hops Chase Enos. There will be a flag down, maybe possibly a late hit after the play.
Roughing the passer, no doubt about that one. Coming out of the play was one of the linemen trying to get a glimpse of who. And it's no question about it. Personal foul, roughing the passer. Now tack on 15 yards. Well, that's just a bonehead play. So Sears trying to hit Chase Enos on the outside. The ball was one-hopped, and before you know it, smothered on the ground was Sears. And now they're looking at a 1st and 10 inside the 30 at the 28.
First down and 10, as you mentioned. Here is a handoff to Nate Hill, barreling his way, crosses the 25 before being tackled by a host of Springtown Porcupines.
Right now, the run game looking good for the Boyd Broncos. Again, you know, not flashy, 3 yards a carry. So far, Nate Hill hasn't been caught behind the line of scrimmage. Knock on wood that I didn't jinx him there. He's gotten about 3 yards a carry. That is now his 5th carry of the game. He's got 23 yards, but 20 of those have come here in the half on 4 carries.
Nice drive to open up the second half. Sears, a bad exchange, goes down to a knee, and they'll rule him down at the 26-yard line. So a loss of 1. That's the second time, or third time actually, there's been a bad exchange between quarterback and center.
On the stat sheet, Sears has 7 carries, Monty, and 3 of them have been those. I mean, that's killing potential drives. You know, they were moving. They had 2nd and 7. Now they're looking at 3rd and 9.
And if you're wondering, Rusty Walton is back into the game at center. He went out earlier with an injury, but is back in, and he's the normal center. This is going to be a toss left side. Nate Hill in trouble for a minute. Escapes, goes to the 25, down to the 21-yard line. So it's going to bring up 4th down, I'm afraid, and about 3 yards. So at the 21, we'll see what McKinney Boyd elects to do here.
Well, Yarbrough's got the leg to kick a field goal.
They tried a 46-yarder earlier. Of course, Yarbrough came up tremendously short on that one. We'll see if they elect to bring him back out. Now, this is against the wind.
Yeah, I don't think they'll do that. They'll go for it here on 4th and 3. Barring a bad snap, they've been averaging at least that here on this drive.
Here we go, 4th down for McKinney Boyd. They're going to toss left side. That's Nate Hill in trouble, trying to find the near side. 20, 15, 10, 5. It's touchdown time in Texas. Nate Hill on an 18-yard touchdown for McKinney Boyd. And, you know, we were talking about momentum, and here's McKinney Boyd trailing only by 9 points.
What did I say coming out? You just need to get a drive together, churn out the yards, churn out the clock. That's what they did. It was almost a 4-minute drive. They converted a couple of third downs. They ran the ball. Besides from that one missed snap there, they didn't have a negative play. That's what you need. That is a great drive coming out of the half. Now all of a sudden, things aren't done. Looks like they're going to go for 2 here to try to make it a 7-point game.
They'll try to get that extra point back, make it a 7-point game. As you mentioned, this is Sears going to toss right side, in trouble. Tosses it back to Nate Hill. He puts the ball on the turf. Springtown picks it up, and they're going to be tackled with it. On the recovery is for Springtown was Tim Downing, the linebacker, but he's going to be down. And our score 28-19, 8:17 left to go second quarter. Back in a moment on 97.5 KLAK. Welcome back to Ron Post Stadium and a McKinney Boyd happy crowd now as the new score 28-19. Springtown still in the lead here, but McKinney Boyd a great drive there to open up the second half. It was 11 plays, 63 yards, took 3 minutes and 43 seconds off the third quarter clock, and Nate Hill scampers in from 18 yards out. And now we have a 21-yard touchdown, rather. And now we have a 28-19 score, Springtown in the lead.
Hey, Monty, guess what? The ball blew off the tee again. They should just put the holder out there right now. The wind not getting any lighter.
We may have an update on A.J. Jones. We'll check down with John Leidy in a moment, right after the kickoff, as Travis Yarborough will tee this one up, and he will boot it away. And this is, again, is a low squibber. It's going to be taken by an up man. He just falls on it at the 35-yard line. And for Springtown, coming up with the ball is Caleb Bankston. Again, it's not really trying to onside kick it there, but just kind of trying to squib it a little bit. Let's check down with John Leidy. I believe he may have an update for A.J. Jones.
Thank you. I did get to mention that A.J. Jones was delayed about 5 minutes getting out of the locker room. He did not return with his shoulder pads or his helmet. His return in the second half is doubtful.
All right, thank you very much, John Leidy. And we think they may just be taking precautionary measures for a concussion or something like that. He really had that face mask ripped off pretty hard. Again, we're not speculating. We don't know, obviously, his condition. This is going to be a low snap. We're going to hand off for one of the very few times tonight to the tailback, and that's Raphael Kubrak. And Kubrak makes his way up to the 38-yard line, a gain of 3 on first down.
Well, if you want the specific, that's the third time he's carried the ball, and he only has 8 yards. So
he has not been needed. They've done offense elsewhere.
Well, Logan Turner has almost 300 yards of offense on his own. He has 65 rushing yards to go with 219 passing. Pretty effective.
He'll send 2 receivers to either side, moving left to right. Logan Turner in shotgun formation. Low snap again. He picks it up. He's just going to run with it. Left tackle breaks away out to the far side. Now trapped behind the line of scrimmage. Comes back near side. He's going to come all the way to the near sideline. Has the 40 up to the 45, showing great athleticism, and then runs out of bounds at the 49-yard line in Boyd territory. They'll actually give him the 48, chased out by Weston Eubanks. Just a great job of athleticism, being able to turn the table and run all the way across the field. And he picks up a first down.
Well, it's a 14-yard run. Boyd was in good position. Problem is they were the guys who are much slower than Logan. Guys like Robert Sparks there on the defensive line. Coming also was Justin Cordova. Got not the quickest of guys. They were in good position, but Logan using his athleticism.
Haddock and Sylvie in the slot. Turner's going to hand off, and whistles blow before the play could get underway. It's going to be false start against Springtown, so back them up 5 yards. I believe 1st and 15. Some scores to pass along. We have Sherman over Paris, actually, 10-0. That's Sulphur Springs, rather. Sherman over Sulphur Springs, 10-0. And then Paris leading Denison 28-15. I heard a story about Denison. They actually lost both their starting and backup defensive ends this week. Have you ever heard of anything like that?
All 4 of them?
All 4.
Wow.
In 1 week.
Well, that's such a crucial position.
It'll be 1st and 15 for Springtown here, moving left to right. 7:24 left to go. Another low snap. Logan Turner picks it up, rolls out left side under pressure, He's being chased down by Neil Johnson and is forced out of bounds over there on the far side. Also chasing him was Chris Garrison, who forces him out. It'll be a gain of maybe 3 yards on the play.
You got to like what you saw out of Johnson there. Neil just running up. He wasn't going to let Logan turn the corner on him, and he almost did, but Johnson just reached out, grabbed the jersey, and basically used his hand strength to hang on. Logan couldn't break away from it, only a 3-yard gain, and that was a crucial play because now it's 2nd and 12. When you're looking at the 2nd and long, that's where you can make the offense make mistakes.
2nd down and 12. Left to right is Springtown. Logan Turner, 2-step drop, shotgun formation, looking right side. Now he's flushed out, and now he's trapped behind the line of scrimmage. And McKinney Boyd, now he somehow gets away, but the whistles blow.
Robert Sparks again, Monty, with the sack.
And now 2 late flags come flying in way after this play.
I'll tell you what it was. Logan Turner started cussing as soon as he was able to get out of that one. I guarantee you, because that's all he did. He didn't make a motion at the ref. He was just jumping up and down. He thought the whistle shouldn't have blown. And then all of a sudden you see those 2 unsportsmanlike conduct flag. He may have said something that wasn't along that lines, but generally the referees aren't going to overreact when you just say something like that.
Well,
it had to be something along those lines.
Before we accuse Mr. Turner of saying foul language, we will note that it is a 15-yard penalty against them, but I don't know that we should accuse him of.
Well, they made the unsportsmanlike conduct. Generally, like I said, the ref not going to overreact in that situation. Well, if you just say, no, you can't, I was getting away. It usually has to be something over the line. And again, 2 referees threw the flag. It wasn't just one.
Yeah. Oh, I completely agree that something was said. Maybe he said something about the ref's mom, though. You never know.
That's just as bad. But that's a huge turnaround. Now they're looking at, oh, my gosh, looking at 3rd and 31.
3rd and 31.
Because that was a sack by Robert Sparks.
From their own 31.
A loss of about 6 yards on the play. Then you had the 15-yard penalty.
John Leidy, you were down there. I don't want you to repeat what he said, but did he say something bad?
Guys, I think it was more the fact that he actually spiked the ball rather than any words that he said that got him the penalty. He's very frustrated. He spiked the ball pretty hard. Back up to y'all.
All right, thanks, John. And, see, before we go messing around and, he is the coach's son, Brad Turner, the head coach, and this is Logan Turner. They both came over from Sulphur Springs last year.
But you know what? That's the kind of thing you want out of you just want him to rein in the emotion, because if he thought he had the play, you want him to get excited that he didn't make it. You just want him to rein it in when they say, okay, hold off.
Exactly. And I know Logan Turner wishes he had that one back. Here's another low snap, and that's going to come back to haunt him if they don't watch out. Logan Turner throws it down the field, and it's picked off. It's picked off by Bolinas at the 45-yard line, trying to find this near corner, and down at the 40, it is Parker Bolinas who picks it off at the 50. I think Logan Turner just got confused with the low snap. He got under pressure. He picked it up and just heaved it down the field, overthrew his receiver. He was trying to, I believe, to hit Hodge again over the middle, but was nowhere close for the first time tonight, and Parker Bolinas was right there.
That's what happens when you get pressure. They've been able to get pressure, but the coverage hasn't been there. This time the coverage was there, the pressure was there. That forced a long throw. And, of course, when you're facing a 3rd and 31, you have to throw it long to begin with. And when he was just a little off, he didn't miss by much, but just enough where Parker Bolinas playing center field picked it off. Then a nice little return of about 15 yards. And all of a sudden, Boyd in good position. They have 1st and 10 at the 40 inside their opponent's territory. And like I said, this is setting the momentum. The offense did its job coming out of the half. Now the defense did their job on their first series.
Only down by 9. McKinney Boyd takes over at the Springtown 40. Toss right side. Nate Hill has the 40 and can't break the tackle of the right cornerback on the far sideline. It'll be a flag down right at the contact of Nate Hill and the tackler. And on the stop was Chip Lynn, the cornerback, or actually the strong safety on the far side.
Legal chop block. That'll kill the drive.
Well, it was the first play of the drive, so maybe McKinney Boyd will be able to snap out of that one, as the ball will now be placed back at midfield. It'll be 1st down and 20. A huge penalty there to start out this drive. 6:11 left to go here in the third quarter. Springtown on top 28-19. Again, other scores that we have. Oh, now Saxe's up big. Trying to pass along some scores on the scoreboard. Sherman's still up 10-0 over Sulphur Springs, way out in what is that? What county is that? Hopkins County? Does that sound right?
No idea.
Way out there.
We'll go with that. We'll go way out there county.
Way out there. Ball at midfield. First down and 20 for McKinney Boyd, moving right to left. Sears, again, has been the quarterback all night long. Talk earlier in the week that they were going to see we were going to see both, but Sears has been in there all night. This is going to be a toss left side. Nate Hill running near side, has the 45, flipped end over end at the 45-yard line. He had some daylight there. It was a nice stop by Caleb Bankston, and if he could have got by Bankston, he probably could have gone the distance.
Yeah, Bankston doing a good job hitting the hip. The hip is one of the key points that a runner relies on. If you can knock the hip off balance, you can knock the runner off balance, as we saw there. That's where you get your drive and power from. Had Bankston not gotten the hip, Hill at least gets 10 yards on the carry, and like you said, probably a touchdown.
Nate Hill and Zach Jones in the backfield. Handoff up the middle, and that's Nate Hill. Nowhere to go there. He's met right at the line of scrimmage. They'll mark the ball at the 43-yard line, so maybe a yard with 5:08 left to go in the third quarter. McKinney Boyd down 9, 28-19. It'll be third down and 13.
Yeah, here's where that penalty comes back to hurt. You know,
a golden opportunity McKinney Boyd had to put points on the board here and answer back to Springtown,
and they're going against the wind.
Yeah, a costly penalty. The chop block really hurt them on the first play of their drive there. 4:40, third down and 13. Sears wants to throw it, heaves it down the field. Chase Enos wide open, and he makes the catch at the 16-yard line. First down for McKinney Boyd. Chase Enos struts away as he makes the catch. 4:32 left to go, third quarter, and McKinney Boyd still alive. On the coverage for Springtown, I believe, was going to be Brandon Weeks on the near side. Actually, I believe that was Caleb Bankston, but not very good coverage as Enos was right there. It was kind of the old throw it up and go up and get it type play, and Enos went up and got it.
27-yard reception. Enos' second catch for 50 yards.
First and 10 for McKinney Boyd. Toss left side. Nate Hill has the 10, has the 5, has the touchdown. It's touchdown time in Texas for McKinney Boyd, and they inch so closer. It's 28-25 with 4:11 left to go, third quarter. And they'll try for the extra point here to make it a 2-point game.
How's this for a good second half? 9 carries for 70 yards for Hill, 2 touchdowns. For the game, he's gotten 3 touchdowns running on the ground.
Travis Yarborough on for the extra point. Will boot this one up pretty high and true. 28-26. Springtown in the lead. Back in a moment on 97.5 KLAK. Welcome back to Ron Post Stadium. Monty Walker along with Brandon Helms, John Leidy, and Jared Foyt. A new score. Springtown still in the lead, but not by much now. 28-26 as McKinney Boyd cuts it down. 4 plays, 40 yards on the drive, capped off by a 16-yard touchdown by Nate Hill as the ball blows off the tee once again. And they just need to put somebody there for good to hold that ball there. And we'll check down with John Leidy in a moment to get the mood of the team on the sideline, as I'm sure it's a pretty good one. They're going to fake the onside. They'll back up here and boot this one away.
For some reason, that Quail onside just looks a little funny when there's a holder there holding the ball. I don't know what it was. It just looked like 10 guys coming after one.
And they will squib it once again to the 40-yard line, so an extra of 5 yards. This time it's going to be recovered by Springtown's Ty Burtonette right at the 40. So giving them a little, short field here, but I guess that's better than kicking the ball out of bounds or some other things that can happen.
Yeah, I guess that could be what you're worried about, but with the strong wind, if you just try to kick it down the middle, you effectively achieve the same thing as what a pooch kick does.
And I guess it ensures that, they're not going to run one back.
Well, yeah, generally, though, if you can kick it high in this wind, it'll just kind of hang up there and then just fall down. That, again, accomplishes what some teams do intentionally with that pooch kick.
So far in the second half, it's been all McKinney Boyd. They've had 2 possessions and 2 touchdowns. Now Springtown will take over in their second possession. Another high snap. Parker Bolinas is sacked to the backfield. Nate Lynchard is back there almost before the ball to bring him down. And for the first time, really, McKinney Boyd's defense is showing life of stopping this Springtown Pojo.
Yeah, this time there was immediate penetration, and when you have a bad snap like that, your quarterback's fodder. And that's what happened there. Lynchard comes through, just basically open form tackle. Turner had no chance.
2 receivers to either side. The Springtown looks kind of flat here.
Well, they do.
The high snap has really been a problem in the second half, and this one's a good one. Logan Turner throws it over the middle, and wide open is his receiver, Sylvie, who makes the catch enough for the first down at the 46-yard line in Boyd territory, and that is something that they did right before the half as Blake Little makes the stop for McKinney Boyd.
Sylvie's first reception of the half, his 7th overall, and it goes for a 20-yarder.
Raphael Kubrak stands to the left side of Logan Turner, the quarterback, who will stand right at the 50-yard line. 5 yards behind the line of scrimmage. Now he moves up, changes the play, moves back a little bit. The ball resting at the 45, and he's going to hand off to Kubrak up the middle, a little seam, breaks away for an 8-yard run to the 37-yard line. So it'll be about 3 yards shy of a first down for Springtown.
Kubrak's best run of the game. It's only his 4th carry, but it went for 7 yards. His previous best was 3.
Second down and 3 from the 38-yard line. 2 minutes, 38 seconds left to go in the third quarter as we approach the 10 o'clock hour. Here's a swing out pass to the right side. Has his man, and it's caught all the way down to the 16-yard line. Goes Chase Ray. Made the catch, and on the stop, Weston Eubanks for McKinney Boyd, who finally forces him out, but not after he moves the sticks. And here comes Logan Turner again.
Exactly. This is what he's been able to do all game pretty much.
They'll actually spot the ball around the 18-yard line.
20-yard pass play again.
Moving left to right is Springtown. 2 receivers to either side. We haven't heard from Jesse Hodge lately, and let's hope that we don't anytime soon. Turner back to pass, looking his way, has Hodge, and it's caught at the 8-yard line and goes out of bounds at the 6. Another flag down. This one probably going to be a late hit on Parker Bolinas, and Bolinas, obviously a little upset, throws his hands in the air and his palms up to the sky. With 2:21 left to go in the third quarter, Springtown's going to be in business here on a first and goal situation.
Not too terrible of a penalty. He's out at about the 4-yard line. But when you see the receiver, he was clearly going for the sideline. He knew he wasn't going to get in the end zone. He wasn't going to risk trying it and fumbling it and ruining a drive. But when the receiver's clearly going to the end zone, you have to give it to him.
2 receivers to either side. Logan Turner stands in shotgun formation, has Hodge split out wide left. Look for him. Look for Chase Ray split out wide right. And he has his man Kubrak standing to his right. He's going to hand off to him, and Kubrak goes into the end zone for a touchdown. So Springtown answers right back. Just when you thought McKinney Boyd was back into this football game and going to make some noise, they let Springtown right back into a big lead, 34-27. I guess it's not a big lead, but obviously
it's a big momentum shift for sure.
It's a huge momentum shift, and with the extra point makes it a 2-score game.
Well, if you think about it this way, from the onset of the third quarter, the first defensive series for Boyd was great. And this one, they didn't get past second down. A couple of big pass plays, and then finishing it off with a running play.
Late man comes in for Springtown, and they didn't have enough men on the field. They snap it, and the extra point is true. So 35-26, our new score. Back in a moment on 97.5 KLAK. Welcome back to Ron Post Stadium. Monty Walker along with Brandon Helms, John Leidy, and Jared Foyt. 2:17 left to go in the third quarter. Springtown just changes the score again, 35-26 on top of McKinney Boyd. It was a 7-play, 60-yard drive, a minute 53 off the clock, and now 35-26 the Springtown lead after that 6-yard touchdown by Kubrak. And the kickoff is high in the air. Weston Eubanks is going to take it. Actually, he's going to bobble it. It goes into the end zone. He brings it back out. A lot of room to the near side. 20, 15. He's going to have to turn on the boosters. He crosses the 18-yard lines and out of bounds at about the 20. Weston Eubanks showing a little bit of speed there, but if he had a little bit more, he had a lot of green in front of him.
Well, the difference is he didn't field that one cleanly. That might have been able to set up the return out to the 20, because by the time he picked it up and started moving forward, more of the white shirts were clustered around the center of the field, allowing him to spring it outside. I want to go back to the last drive there, Monty. You mentioned less than 2 minutes taken off the drive that went 60 yards. I think that's what's kind of deflating here is the fact that Springtown can score so fast so quickly. And you look at that, a 90-play drive in 30 seconds, and I think that's one reason that they're able to get a little bit more momentum than maybe they should otherwise.
Sears goes under center. Quarterback toss left side. Nate Hill has a big hole to the 25 out to the 27-yard line. A nice open start first play there for McKinney Boyd, and now a personal foul flag will come in.
Late hit.
We haven't talked to John Light in a while. Talk to us, John.
Yes, guys, this penalty is going to be a late hit as the player was already down and defensive player come flying in. I actually got a chance to venture to the opposing sideline over there for Springtown. And after I was actually over there while McKinney Boyd scored both their touchdowns coming out of the halftime. It was interesting seeing how an experienced team handled that compared to a new team like McKinney Boyd handled it in the first half. We're going to see how McKinney Boyd handles this last touchdown by Springtown.
Hey, John, I got one question to ask you. If McKinney Boyd scored twice while you were on their sideline, why didn't you just stay over there?
I'm thinking about going back over there, actually.
Just saying.
First and 10 from the 43. Boyd in their own side of the field is going to toss left side. Nate Hill once again. This time he's trapped behind the line of scrimmage. Coming up on the stop for Springtown will be Corey Cannon, who is not a regular into the football game, not a regular in the depth chart anyway, but Cannon into the game here to make the stop. $1:31 left to go, third quarter. Springtown in the lead, 35-26.
That was Nate Hill's first actual negative carry. I like the way that he goes north-south. And there's just a great defensive play by Springtown to not let him do anything. It wasn't fancy juking that caused him to get behind the line of scrimmage.
High formation, Matt Morton into the game at the tight end position. Sears wants to throw the deep ball down the middle of the field, going for Enos once again, makes an adjustment and makes the catch at the 26-yard line. Again, Chase Enos and Jeff Fuller making huge downfield catches. They actually are having to adjust to the ball, go and get it, but you know what? Who cares? Although
they're raving it off.
One person that cares is the official, the back judge, and it's going to be a hold against McKinney Boyd. The back judge, Jerome Berglund, made the call standing right behind the line of scrimmage there. And what was a great catch and what could have been a huge momentum booster might just actually flatten out everything here as they bring the ball back to the 31-yard line.
Well, 2nd and 22. They're going to have a tough time recreating that last play magic, because now that Springtown will be ready for it, they're going to have to come up with something different. They've been able to throw the ball long.
Neil Johnson in at fullback, and a little confusion there as they toss it out to Nate Hill, the running back, who's going to get back to the line of scrimmage and maybe gain a little bit, maybe a foot or so. But on that play, Neil Johnson kind of got in the way of the pitch as Sears was trying to pitch it out to Nate Hill, but Johnson was kind of in the path.
Springtown takes a timeout.
We'll take one, too. 35-26. Springtown in the lead. Back in a moment on 97.5 KLAK. Welcome back to Ron Post Stadium. Monty Walker and the rest of the crew. And this is going to be a fumble on the play. Sears with a bad exchange to his tailback. And Springtown will take over at the Boyd 30-yard line. And that could be disaster for the Boyd Broncos.
Well, this drive started with promise, too. Even had promise when Enos's catch, but penalties. I mean, that's the difference in taking it to the next level, are the penalties.
That and the bad exchange between center and quarterback.
Yeah, but even still, if you take that out, the penalties, right now they're at the 30-yard line, even with the bad exchanges. I mean, they've got near 80 yards in penalties in 3 quarters.
Well, 2 receivers to either side. Logan Turner, shotgun formation, and he wants to throw to Hodge again. And actually, that's Sylvie. He just overthrew him, and it'll go out of bounds and incomplete. Bring up 2nd down and 10 from the Boyd 30. 28 seconds left to go before the 4th quarter. And again, Springtown up on top here, 35-26.
Well, you got to come up big with your defense here, Monty. You can't let them do another score here, because then all the effort that you've put forth so far in this quarter will be for naught, because there's 28 seconds left, and you've been able to close the gap on the scoreboard.
Ray and Hodge split out wide. Turner wants to throw. Now he hands off to Kubrak up the middle. A lot of running room there. Has the 25, 20, 15 look out. Flag down at the 12-yard line. He's tackled there.
It'll be coming back.
Enough for a first down, but I think you're right. That one's going to come back. Weston Eubanks makes the stop.
We had an illegal block in the back. The pressure was coming inside defensively from Jesse Redmond, one of the defensive tackles for the Boyd Broncos. But when you're pushed in the back, it's tough to get any kind of play going.
John Leidy down on the sidelines. Talk to us.
Yes, guys, I was speaking to y'all at halftime, telling y'all I was going to do a little investigative reporting in the second half. I mentioned that the Springtown mascot looked like a skunk. We'll get back to that right after this.
Okay, it is a porcupine, so we'll see. We'll see what John has up his sleeve after this 2nd down and 20 play. 13, 12, 11 seconds on the 3rd quarter clock. Turner back to pass, looking across the middle, has his man Sylvie caught at the 22, down at the 16-yard line. And I tell you what, they throw over the middle all day long. Chris Garrison makes the stop for McKinney Boyd. John, talk about that skunk.
Yeah, the mascot looks like an inbred, TCU horned frog, but except for it's black. It's a cross between a horse and an alligator.
All right.
I'd hate to see that out when I was hunting sometime.
Yeah. Well, that's the end of the 3rd quarter, 35-26. Springtown in the lead here. Back in a moment on 97.5 KLAK. Okay, John, your mic off the rest of the night. Did you just say inbred over the air?
Inbred horn frog?
Is that a bad word?
It's not a positive word.
Okay, sorry.
As much trouble as I should take for saying cuss, you should
said their mascot looks inbred.
Well,
I've never, of 13 years I've been doing this, I've never had a sideline call the other mascot inbred.
Well, the good news is this should take some heat off me for my cuss comment.
I'm sorry. That's just
Thanks,
a Texas
John.
thing.
I appreciate you.
Woo. Good Lord. That's hilarious.
Hey, I should get his game check.
Oh, my God.
As punishment, I should get his game check.
That's funny. That's funny.
You keep doing what you do, John.
You're doing good.
I'll watch what I got to say.
That was a good one, though. That's a good one.
Try to stick to the game, though.
I'm going to have that. I'm going to have that saved.
Put that in the open.
Welcome back to Ron Post Stadium. Monty Walker along with Brandon Helms and John Leidy and Jared Foyt. And Jared's going to think we're kind of crazy up here. Here's Turner. He's flushed out of the pocket, trying to fight his way out to the 18-yard line and down right there. A nice job by McKinney Boyd's Robert Sparks and Norman Seibel coming up to bring down Turner there. And that'll bring up a 2nd down and 11 after the 1-yard loss. Yeah, Jared's first game in the booth with us. It's probably been one he'll never forget.
Yeah, you never forget your first time.
2nd down and 11. 11-26 left to go in this game. Again, Springtown up 35-26. Turner drops back, looking across the middle, now flushes out, looking left side, and it is caught and dropped and incomplete in the end zone. It was Andrew Haddock who tried to pick it up off the turf and had it for a second and then dropped it.
Well, he didn't try to pick it up the turf. It was just I don't know, half a foot above the turf, and he kind of juggled with it. And one of the juggles caused it to bounce off the turf before he had full completion of it. Nice job here by the line judge. He was all over that one. So as soon as he saw it hit the turf, he said, that stopped this play. Incomplete pass.
I was almost in shock that it wasn't Jesse Hodge in that corner trying to make that touchdown catch.
Well, he does have 11 catches. Well, he was there.
Including 4 touchdown catches tonight. Here is Turner. Drops back 2 steps, looking over the middle, and fires it for Sylvie. It's caught, and that's a touchdown. And McKinney Boyd's Matt Morton slaps the turf with his hand because he knew he was beaten by Jonathan Sylvie, who came across the middle and made that catch. 41-26, our new score. Springtown in the lead.
Now 315 yards passing for Turner. Boy, you look at what he's been able to do. He's thrown 27 times, completed 20 of them, 315 yards, 5 touchdown passes, not a single interception, though he did put the ball on the ground once.
Going for 2 here.
That's odd.
Turner in the option going to toss it out to Kubrak, who gets the 2-point conversion as they ran the option down the line, and he pitched it just right before the pylon, and it is a 2-point conversion. So 43-26, our new score. Back in a moment on 97.5 KLAK. Welcome back to Ron Post Stadium. Monty Walker along with Brandon Helms, John Leidy, and Jared Foyt. 1 North Bulldog and 1 McKinney Lion up in the booth with us.
And 1 West Texas Yahoo. I want to go back to that 2-point conversion there and said that was odd. After redoing the math, though, puts them up 17 now, making it a 3-score game. So it's actually pretty good call. Because now that puts the hopes of a comeback even that much further out of the grasp.
And Trotter will boot this one down the field, crosses the 30 to the 25. It's going to be picked up by Weston Eubanks, and he'll shake 1 defender, flag down, and Eubanks will go down at the 33-yard line. We'll check this one.
Usually on return, it's on the return team when it's that far downfield.
So with 11:09 left to go in the game, as you mentioned, it's a 17-point game now.
Although I don't know, they're talking to Boyd.
It is. It's going to go against Boyd.
Oh, and it's a little chop block. That's a 15-yarder.
So instead of starting at the 33, the Boyd Broncos will actually start at their own 16-yard line.
8 more yards and penalties, and they'll reach the century mark.
11:04 left to go in the game. Some scores to pass along. We had a final, Sherman over Paris, 31-0. And we had a third-quarter score, Paris. I said Sherman over Sulphur Springs is what I mean, 31-0. Paris over Denison, 28-22. That one's in the third. This is going to be a handoff. Nate Hill up the middle, and he's busted right at the line of scrimmage. Coming up for Springtown is going to be Matt Pierce. And he pierced Nate Hill on that one.
Right now, you just got to try to put a drive together. Down 17, that's going to be a tough obstacle to overcome. Though you have to like what you've seen out of your offense. They've been able to pass on many occasions, and they're getting good running both out of Nate Hill and A.J. Jones.
Well, this is by far the most points that McKinney Boyd has put on anyone. The 26 points tonight doubles the 13 output from a couple of weeks ago. This is going to be Sears in trouble behind the line of scrimmage, being wrestled down and finally pushed down behind the line of scrimmage by Ty Burtonet. And it took a while for Sears to actually go down, but now another Boyd Bronco is down, and we'll check and see who that is, as I believe it's Matt Morton. And Morton is down at the 20-yard line. Looks like he may have just had the wind knocked out of him or something.
Yeah, that's what happens. Generally, when you get hit in that area, the wind leaves, and all of a sudden you feel like the world's just caving in on you. You're struggling to breathe.
Speaking of wind, John Leidy down on the sidelines. Looks like the wind has picked up even more.
Yes, sir. In this second half, that wind has actually picked up a lot. That played a factor on the kickoffs a bunch, and it almost played a factor on the extra point earlier.
All right, John, thank you very much. 10-13 left to go in the game. 26 for McKinney Boyd, 43 for Springtown, as Morton will make his way to the sidelines under his own power. Everything's okay there. Zach Jones and Nate Hill in the backfield. Chase Enos and Jeff Fuller split out wide. Again, Sears has been the quarterback all night long. He goes under center here, I formation, drops back, wants to pass under pressure, and goes down at the 14-yard line. He's sacked behind the line of scrimmage. And a lot of happy Springtown Porcupines on the field as Corey Cannon comes up, and he's responsible for the sack. And it'll be punt time for McKinney Boyd. Yeah.
Sorry, I couldn't resist.
Travis Yarborough will go back to punt, and he'll stand at his own 3-yard line. Back deep for Springtown will be Jonathan Sylvie, and he's been the man of the hour, I guess, so to speak, catching the touchdown a moment ago. And he'll stand at his own 43-yard line. And a timeout has been called. We'll take one, too. Back in a moment on 97.5 KLAK. Welcome back to Ron Post Stadium. Monty Walker along with Brandon Helms, John Leidy, and Jared Foyt up here in the booth. It's punt time, and Travis Yarborough will boot this one away. It's an end-over-end kick that goes out of bounds, and John Leidy has to jump out of the way. It almost knocked him over.
We're just having a tough second half.
9:19 left to go here in the fourth quarter, and Springtown on top of this one, 43-26. It was one of those where at halftime, Springtown had all of the momentum in the game right before the half because they had a tremendous 4 minutes right before the half. However, Boyd came out of halftime, scored twice right out of the chutes, and it looked like Boyd was on their way back to win this game in comeback fashion. Even got within 2 at 28-26. However, Springtown has put it back on the board twice.
Well, it goes back to penalties and turnovers. Can't have either one to be successful.
43-26. Our score here, Springtown in the lead. This is going to be a handoff. Kubrak running right side, has a big hole, 40, 35, look out. Has the third, it just falls down. Has the first down and just fell. Kubrak would have had probably another 5-10 yards, maybe even 15 if he could have got to the corner, but his feet got going too fast and he just fell down.
Well, still an 11-yard gain for him. He's doing something at least as he's starting to pick up the pace here in the second half. Again, he only had 2 first-half carries, though.
Under 9 minutes left to go in the game, 43-26. This is Turner. He wants to throw now. He flushes out left side, throws it across the middle to Sylvie. Caught again, up to the 20, flag down, 15. Down at the 12-yard line goes Sylvie. And Jonathan Sylvie's had a great second half, but a flag is down, and we'll check this one as, again, Logan Turner puts his palms in the air when he looks at the official. And I tell you what, he's already had 1 flag called against him. And this penalty is going to go against Springtown as well.
Yeah, right now the big difference between the two teams, Springtown committing the penalties too. They're just not turning the ball over. They had 2 fumbles in the first half. Or rather just the 1 fumble in the first half. But other than that, they've had 1 interception. Just those 2 turnovers. And they didn't come as crucial as the Boyd turnover was.
Weston Eubanks comes off a little bit gimpy, but making his way off the field. Jeff Fuller will come in and play that safety position in place of Eubanks. It'll be 1st and 11 now for Springtown at the Boyd 32 rather. Shotgun formation for Turner. And he drops back 2 steps, wants to throw again over the left side, and that's Sylvie caught again, shakes 1 defender, shakes 2 defenders, twists and turns at the 13-yard line, and he'll be down there. And once again, another big play by Jonathan Sylvie.
Well, if at first it doesn't succeed, try it again. They go from the 32 down to the 13 on virtually the same pass pattern.
And Neil Johnson right in there in that linebacker position was caught in traffic. And Johnson having to play a lot because Nate Hill playing an offensive role. Hill usually in as a starter at linebacker, but Nate Johnson seeing a lot of time out there. This is going to be Turner back to pass. 2 steps, pumps, throws in the end zone, and guess who he's looking for? Hodge, and it's caught. 5 touchdowns on the night for Jesse Hodge. Unbelievable.
What can you say? Well, he's just been on fire. Another, this time a 13-yard variety. If you want to put it in perspective, that's his 12th reception, 224 yards receiving, and 5 touchdowns.
The extra point on the tee. The kick is up, and the kick is no good. He hooked it to the left, 49-26. Springtown in the lead. Back in a moment on 97.5 KLAK. Welcome back to Ron Poe Stadium. Monty Walker, Brandon Helms, John Leidy, and Jared Foyt. John is somewhere down on the field.
He's on the other sideline at the 40.
We'll check down with him here in a moment. The Quail onside by Springtown, and he kicks the ball.
Yeah.
You know, it's knocked off the tee, and I don't believe the wind knocked it over this time.
Oh, no, they touched it.
But again, no indication of a flag or anything like that, but he obviously touched the ball. So, our new score, 49-26 Springtown, after the 5th touchdown reception by Jesse Hodge from Logan Turner. And this is going to be, this is going to be McKinney Boyd taking the ball at the 30-yard line and driven back hard. And let's check down with John Leidy. John, whereabouts are you on this field?
Yes, I've made my way back to the visiting Springtown side. My mom taught me a rule, not to call people names. So I've come over here to apologize to the Pojo mascot over here.
Well, John,
so the porcupine. So I'm over here saying sorry.
All right, well, John.
I want to see a hug.
John.
I'm watching.
John
I don't see a hug.
Minding his manners and listening to his mother, and those are good things to do. First down and 10 for Boyd. This is Sears. Drops back, wants to pass, throws it very, very high, looking for Fuller, and Fuller runs underneath it but can't catch this one as the ball lands at the 29-yard line and falls incomplete. You mentioned during the break, Brandon, that Jesse Hodge has 5 touchdowns and McKinney Boyd on the night 4 receptions.
Yeah, Sears 4 for 11 now after that incompletion. Hodge himself, those 5 touchdown passes. I mean, if you're looking at a difference in the game, I don't think the question is the passing game for Springtown. The question is who's going to be your MVP? Hodge, 5 touchdown receptions, or Turner, who threw 6 touchdowns, has 300 yards passing? I think I'd give it to Hodge, who's got 200 yards receiving, plus those 5 touchdowns.
I formation for Boyd, another bad snap, and this time it may go over to Springtown. Well, no indication. I think that Boyd actually got on top of it.
Philip Sears probably could have close to 40 yards rushing had it not be for these missed snaps and the occasional that they had the sack. He'd be a lot higher on the rushing total. If you're looking for one direct area that needs to be improved by next week, it's got to be your quarterback to center relationship here.
Nearing 7 minutes on the clock. This is going to be a toss to Nate Hill. Has a big hole up the middle. As it was a toss left, he fought his way back up the middle and is nearing a first down. So on 3rd and 11 is going to be very close to the first, and I think they're going to move the sticks, and they are. So a new set of downs for McKinney Boyd. May be too little too late here with 7 minutes on the clock. Down 49-26. Some scores to pass along from the visitors up north. Denison loses to Paris tonight, 28-22. Sherman wins over Sulphur Springs, 31-0.
Let's go to John after this play. It looks like he's about to reconcile with the mascot here.
First and 10. First and 10 for Boyd. Toss left side. That's Nate Hill. Has the 45-50. And another first down, I believe, for Nate Hill at the 47-yard line. John Leidy, go ahead and apologize.
Okay, guys, I'm over here with mascot for Springtown. Mascot, I'm sorry for calling you names, and I have to give you a hug for your name, okay?
He's literally hugging him. I will give him an A for effort.
Yes, guys, I'm over here actually hugging. I apologize for what I did.
I did see a hug from
John. He literally hugged him.
That's probably another first in the 13 years I've been doing this. A sideline guy actually hugging the opposing mascot. This will be second down for McKinney Boyd, and Nate Hill gets a toss right side, and this one has ugly from the get-go. Springtown will have a host of tacklers tackle Nate Hill behind the line of scrimmage. The ball will be back at the 50-yard line, a loss of about 3 on the play.
When that play started, Nate Hill was 2 yards shy of 100. He's got 4 to go, so we'll see if he can get it here. If he does, that'll be at least nice that you know that your backup runner can do what your starter can do.
3rd down and 4. 5:35 left to go in this game. And Sears is going to roll out right side, looking across the middle, fires it over to the other side, and this is going to be almost intercepted, and I'm really surprised that it wasn't.
Let's give credit to Fuller.
On the play, Danny Hill, the safety for Springtown, almost picks that one off. Again, it went right through his hands. That's about the 3rd time tonight that Springtown had an interception and just dropped it.
Yeah, well, Fuller didn't make it easy on him. He does what you're supposed to do as a receiver, come back to the ball. A lot of times you won't see that. But Fuller did, and he was basically playing defender there. Kind of made it difficult for the defender to get that one. Although you're right, whenever it's that easy, you should come up with it.
4th and 4 for McKinney Boyd. They'll punt this one away. Travis Yarborough will stand at his own 37. Another timeout. Timeout has been called. 49-26. Springtown in the lead. We'll take 1-2 back in a moment on 97.5 KLAK. Travis Yarborough punts this one away after a bad snap. Jonathan Sylvie fields it at his own 5, makes a cut up the middle, has lots of running room up to the 25-30 and down at the 36-yard line. And really, Travis Yarborough made that look pretty good because he was in a lot of trouble after a bad snap. Somehow fielded it, picked it up, booted it away sideways, end over end, and you have to give credit to Yarborough. He did his job there.
Yeah, I was about to go, oh no, here we go. More to add to it. You can say what you will. I like what I've seen out of Yarborough, Monty. He's kicked very well, given the situation of the windiness, and on the punts, I mean, that's a heads-up play. You can't teach that.
5:10 left to go in this game. 49-26, Springtown in the lead over McKinney Boyd. Shotgun formation, high snap. Turner's going to hand it. He's going to keep it around the right side. He's got some running room, and he slips out of a tackle, still on his feet. Fumble on the play. McKinney Boyd has it. And it's going to the north end zone. McKinney Boyd Broncos come up with a fumble. Coming up with it, we believe might have been Jeff Fuller as he limps off. No indication. Reese Redmond was also around the football.
We'll go with that.
5:02 left to go in this game, and you'd like to see McKinney Boyd try to end on a good note here. Maybe just take this whole clock.
You know what, though? I like the pride that defense showed because right now Springtown's still playing at full speed, and this defense is saying no. We're still going to play. We're down, but you know what? No.
Nate Hill has done a wonderful job coming in to replace A.J. Jones tonight. And this is going to be a toss. And a little reverse. Sears gets the ball back, throws it down the field. Wide open is Jeff Fuller. A little contact, bumping and grinding. Jeff Fuller drops it in the end zone, but there's a flag at the 2-yard line.
That's why he dropped it. He was being interfered with.
That was a great play, a little trick play there. Handed off to Nate Hill. Nate Hill turned around, handed back to him, to Sears. Almost a flea flicker, but there was no actual pitching of the ball.
It's almost as if Boyd's saying, oh, yeah, you want to call 2 timeouts when you're up by 3 scores in the 4th quarter? We'll do something too. And now that penalty puts Springtown over 100 yards in penalties at 114. And that's on 12 penalties.
If this were the NFL, McKinney Boyd would have the ball at the 2-yard line. However, it is not.
Yeah. Well, I wish I had $1 for every penalty yard in this game.
The ball will be spotted at the 23-yard line for Boyd inside Springtown territory. Toss right side, Nate Hill. Nice block from his fullback. Cuts it inside, but there are 3 other Springtown Porcupines right there to make the stop, including Matt Pierce and also Ryan Griffin, or Al Owens rather, who comes up from his safety spot to make the stop. 4:35 left to go in this game as we're only, 25 minutes away from 11 o'clock?
Wow. At the rate we're going, we're going to get closer to 11 by the time the thing's finally over. Nate Hill was only 2 yards shy of 100. He's been taken for a loss his last 2 carries. He's back to 95.
4:19 left to go in this game. Springtown on top, 49-26, I formation. It's going to be a handoff. Zach Jones up the middle, big hole. He's at the 15, he's at the 10, the 5, and he is into the end zone. Touchdown, McKinney Boyd. It is touchdown time in Texas. So the score's going to look a little better tonight. 49-32 at the moment, possibly 33 pending the PAT, or 34 if they go for 2 here. We'll have to wait and see. But a nice run by Zach Jones right up the middle. Had great blocks, apparently, from his center, Rusty Walton, and the 2 guards, Reese Redmond and Matt Budinska. I knew I had to look at that twice.
It's a fun name to say. Looks like they're going to kick the PAT. We don't have a holder.
Well, Weston Eubanks is normally the holder, and he came out Gimpy a little earlier, and now the Broncos of McKinney Boyd have to call a timeout because Eubanks was not on the field. We'll keep it right here as Eubanks was trying to race back out there. At the time of at the same time they were calling timeout.
Nice job, Zach Jones, on the touchdown. It was a simple dive in the middle, set up nicely there, like you said, by Rusty Walton and Matt Budinska, the center and right guard. They were able to split the hole, and for some reason, the linebacking core for Springtown not there. And there was a race into the secondary, and as John noted earlier in the game, the fullback, one of the smaller guys out on the offense for Springtown, there's a reason for that. He's also very quick, and once he gets in the secondary, it can cause a lot of damage.
Weston Eubanks now is into the game as the holder, and Travis Yarborough will try to boot this one through for the extra point. It's on the tee, it's up, and he nails it through. So 49-33 Springtown with 4:06 left to go in this game. Back in a moment on 97.5 KLAK. Welcome back to Ron Poe Stadium. Monty Walker along with Brandon Helms, John Leidy, and Jared Foyt. 4:06 left to go in this football game. 49-33. Springtown in the lead, and we'll try to find some players to talk to. Nate Hill, I think, would be a good interview after the game.
Well, you know what? On defense, I've got my eye on somebody. The guy who's got a couple of sacks of the ever-elusive Turner. I think you can't go wrong with Robert Sparks. He's got a couple sacks. Parker Bellinius had the interception.
We'll put an investigative reporter on that. If he
mascot hugger.
If he can get away from the mascots long enough. Ball blows off the tee once again. And you know what? They might as well just have the guy automatically go up there and put his finger on the ball and quit trying to, wait for it to blow off, because it blows off every time.
Well, they don't have another one. Well, I'll guarantee you.
Yarborough will fake this Quail onside, I'm sure. Runs up to the ball. Nope, they're going to kick it, and it goes.
Get there.
Oh, I think they got it. Parker Bellinius recovers at the 44-yard line. What a tremendous kick by Yarborough. And Bellinius came out of nowhere, jetting down the sidelines and picked it up and gets a great big hug from one of his coaches.
Happy calling those timeouts now, Springtown? I think somebody on the sidelines taking it personal that they're doing that with a 3-score lead.
49-33. Stranger things have happened. 4:06 left to go in the game. We always, when we talk about stranger things like this kind of game, we always talk about the Plano East and John Carter. Tyler John Tyler.
It's late. We're so sorry.
Yeah, there you go. This is Sears throwing the home run ball down the field, looking for Chase Enos, who pushes off a little bit, but no flag, and it's overthrown and incomplete. That was probably one of the longest throws we've seen from Sears all night.
Yeah, and incidental contact. You're kind of hoping that there'd be a flag. I mean, heck, why not? We've got 200 combined penalty yards plus. But it was incidental contact, good non-call in the secondary. If Enos was able to just race down there unimpeded, he might have been able to get to that one. It's probably one of the better Sears throws to date.
Second down and 10 for McKinney Boyd. 3:59 left to go in this game. 49-33, Springtown in the lead. I formation. Sears hands off. Zach Jones up the middle, fighting his way for a little bit of yardage. Spun down at the 42-yard line, and he's brought down by the safety, Corey Cannon, who comes up once again. Actually an outside linebacker. Springtown runs a 3-4 defense, much like the Dallas Cowboys. It'll be third down and 8 with 3:28 rolling here in the fourth quarter. I formation. Sears is going to toss right side. This is the trick play again. Sears wants to throw it down the field, has some time. A man in his face, fires it down for Fuller, and it's overthrown and incomplete at the end zone. Fuller, a lot of times, can go up and grab those, but he had several defenders back there, including Logan Turner, who's into the game as safety.
Yeah, you can make contact all you want to if both of you are going for the ball, and that's what happened there. Turner and Fuller were jumping up for that one. Fuller had Turner at his back, and since Turner was there, it didn't allow Fuller to go back like he normally would, and that allowed it just to be out of his reach and fall incomplete. Now we're looking at 4th and 8.
Well, this is your ball game. 4th down and 8. 3:15 left to go in the game. I formation. Sears under center. Fuller split out wide right. They're going to toss right side. That's Nate Hill, and he is trapped behind the line of scrimmage and pushed back and going nowhere, and the ball will turn over to Springtown, and that probably will be your game. 3:08 left to go on the clock. It's just a matter of ticking that clock down now.
Well, I don't know. Springtown still has a timeout left.
Well, 49-33, they lead here, and the Broncos will come back out on the field. Again, Weston Eubanks not coming back out in the safety position. Jeff Fuller will come back out. The only time Eubanks is in the game now is when he has to hold for the extra point. Hopefully you'll see him back out there at least one more time. John Lighty down on the sidelines. You know, you're right there amongst all of the players. Are you hearing any disgruntled words, or are they happy about their performance? Because I think they probably should be.
I'm not hearing too much as far as negative-wise. I think it's all positive down here. You've scored 33 points in tonight's game. That's more than both the previous games combined. Your defense has played a little bit better. There's better tackling. There's just breakdown in the coverage, which the youth and inexperience has played a part into. Back up to y'all.
All right, thanks, John. And that's a good point, because as long as they keep getting better, you know, that's the main focus here. And this is going to be a handoff, and that's Sylvie into the game at tailback. He's got the 45-40, and Sylvie can fly out to the 36-yard line. And a first down, obviously, with that big run. And a new set of downs for Springtown. Moving right to left here late in this football game. Under 3 minutes now. The clock will start rolling as soon as they set the sticks. 2:59 is where we're at. Again, 49-33, Springtown in the lead. Shotgun formation. Logan Turner still in the game. Is flanked by two deep backs, two slot backs standing right next to him. They're showing a different offense that we haven't seen yet. Maybe they're just working on some things. A man in the slot. They're going to hand off, and that's Sylvie once again. It cuts it up inside, maybe 2 yards or so. And on the stop for McKinney Boyd will be Justin Cordova. Second down and 8. As you probably hear Mike Brock, the PA announcer, say over the loudspeaker. 2:12 left to go in this game. 49-33, Springtown in the lead. And Logan Turner will go back in his familiar shotgun formation. Again, moving right to left. And they're going to hand off. Actually, Turner's going to keep it. Big hole up the middle. He's fighting for some more yardage. Has another first down. Trying to drive this clock out, I believe, is Springtown. And make their way up to the 22-yard line. Brad Turner, the head coach, is going to go to 68-37 for his career. Don Drake, obviously 0-3, starting out his first head coaching career. But overall, I think the coaches for McKinney Boyd are going to be pleased with the overall, especially the effort. I believe the effort was there that they were probably lacking in last week's football game.
Well, if you're a new coach on a new team, a first-year team, you're looking for one thing, and that's if they don't quit, and this team didn't quit.
Hand off to Kubrak, who moves his way up to the middle after taking a left tackle handoff, and he'll gain about 5 yards. Clock approaching a minute now, minute 10. Defensively, I think, as you mentioned, as John mentioned, I think they've got to be happy just getting better. And even though they've given up 49 points tonight, I think they're going to be happy with the effort they've given. And especially, you know, a lot of those scores came really quickly, you know, a couple of them right before the half in those spread offense type formations. So overall, I think they're going to be happy. Here's Kubrak, handoff right side, and he's going to make his way up the middle inside the 10, down to the 8-yard line. A couple of players get tangled up. Parker Bolinas and the wide receiver over there, Chase Ray, get tangled up at about the 5-yard line. One loses his helmet, that being Chase Ray for Springtown. But under a minute now, 30 seconds on the clock.
Well, and you mentioned the defense. You got to keep in mind they're going up against one of the area's best 4A quarterbacks. So that's something to take positive. Now, yeah, you gave up 49 yards. The guy had 300 yards passing. But you did good things at good times. And, again, this is a guy, he's got pretty good pinpoint accuracy.
Shotgun. He's going to hand off to Kubrak up the middle. No, he's going to keep it. Logan Turner keeps it. And McKinney Boyd, you got to give him credit. They kept him out of the end zone there as the clock rolls under 5. And now that's the ball game. Your final score, 49-33. Springtown Porcupines win this one. We'll try to talk to John Leidy and Coach Don Drake. Maybe we'll talk to Robert Sparks. Maybe we'll talk to Nate Hill. We'll have all of that and more coming up next on the postgame show on 97.5 KLAK.